not do anything that could be construed as.
Got nothing
Right.
so far.
So no, I've got nothing either, which is very weird. Let me check in the content live. That's strange. That's weird because that's going through the account as well. So
How are you doing, George? You're gonna hurt yourself in a minute.
Oh, all right, Dad.
ooh.
What you want?
George is a cat, to be fair.
A fat cat, a very old and injured one. He's
Bit-
trying to climb up
Bit racist, don't you think?
onto a windowsill, and he's failing miserably.
Bit
What
racist,
like
don't you
on
think?
YouTube to get 1,000 subscribers. I feel like it's a whole idea to stop the crap on them. Or am I completely
Could be.
wrong? Could be completely wrong.
Boyo.
Why is
Because
this?
1,000 seems ridiculous as well.
Fancy it used to be.
Why is
Alright,
this
okay.
not starting? This is annoying me.
Yes, there are some Armcast episodes I haven't actually watched yet.
Yep, we're live now. I can click on the thing.
Are we?
Yep.
Where?
Where is the thing?
Lich, if you go to YouTube,
I'm on the channel right now. You're not sure live for me.
no, you
Oh,
don't.
there it is. I got it.
Yeah, don't go on the channel. Yeah, so
I'm
you've got
watching
it.
it now.
Yep. There's the link.
My
Oh,
God,
there it is. There it is. Are we? Yeah.
I'm gonna chuck the link up.
No, you're absolutely right. There's 2 people watching now, probably us.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
If anyone is watching now and they're not us, please tell us. You know, we might be alone here. Who knows? Oh, I'm fine. I'm glad that got set up.
So we're gonna give it like 10 minutes.
Yes.
Just because I've just put the post up. If people want to quickly share that and get the word out.
Yes, yeah. We'll vibe for 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
4 watching now. Oh. Ah, the chat's working, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it displayed on the screen. The latest message is peen.
Who the fuck said that?
Who do you think?
Was that you, Tom?
Nope.
No.
It was the other one.
You, Tom.
Also, remember, no names.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
No Russian.
No Russian.
Shit, I gotta get
Yeah.
my balaclava to hide
Yeah.
my...
I'm going to have to stop watching that because the echo is awful.
Yes, I'm watching it, but I've turned off the audio, so I can see how far behind we are in lag, because we are. I think we're about half a minute behind or something like that in the stream. Oh, I'm glad that's set up now. That was frustrating me. So yeah.
A tense puckering of the arsehole.
Yes. Stop being a donut, more of a starfish. You know.
It's compacting coal into diamonds.
Yeah. Fudge packing. What?
If anybody would know all about that, it would be you.
I'm not gay.
But of course,
I didn't say you were. You did.
have to duck out for a couple seconds, lads.
Oh dear.
Just set up. Did you not go to the bathroom first?
To be fair, we're waiting a little bit until.
I've had to relocate. Give me a minute.
Oh, someone's here. Someone's here. Phillips Irish Medieval History. Welcome.
Drink.
Oh, that's Philahadia. Fuck, I've got no idea how to pronounce
Oh,
it.
I know. He's from Cornwall, isn't he? I think. Might be thinking of the wrong person. Is that the right person?
No, you're thinking of John Fletcher.
Maybe.
No, I think Phil's from around that. I know, most notably because he had an absolute scuffle on his one of his posts the other day because he had two.
Yes, Philip is who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he
Um,
had two
I
Nazis come on and take issue with his video.
What
nice.
video? I do love it when Nazis get a little bit mad. You know, a little bit salty.
It was, basically, he was positing that the Irish are not actually Celts, and it's a misnomer. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than that. But,
I mean, Celts is a problematic term anyway because of how.
Yeah. But these two nationalists came on, and they're just like berating him and calling it false news and woke leftist propaganda. But doing all of that except provide citations and evidence for what they're saying. So
naturally, it's
that got shut down pretty quickly, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, welcome, Phil. I do enjoy your videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy this just as much. And hope you don't mind me airing the shit-stained laundry there for a fucking second.
Oh dear.
It's literally skid mark.
Lads, I am 2.5 minutes away from a shredded duck pancakes. Not to flex.
Underway at, shall we call it 10 past, quarter past?
If we start at 1/4 I'm thinking, because then we've got time to farm some more viewers.
Yeah.
I mean, it took us long enough to set this up.
It was longer than we were into.
Yes. We had some technical
Less late
hitches.
plans and all that nonsense.
Yeah, well, I tested the stream yesterday and it worked fine, and then it decided today was the day. That the actual the real stream just wasn't going to work. Oh, hey Ben, nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Who's this? Bolshoff.
Yeah.
Nikon.
Dude. Should be interesting. I've chucked out a few links here and there just to, my mates can get in and. I mean, like the early bit is just going to be us talking about, just chewing the fat a little bit initially, and then we're going to get into the meat of it as we go on, as we usually do.
Yeah.
But I'm in the wrong channel. There it is. There's my list. Yeah, so we've got a few questions for Q&A, which I will put in our little chat. Read only text. We do that at the end. Yeah, have you all shared? I know Just Eastern's shared his. Guthrum of Norvik, have you shared to your page?
No.
Then
Can
why
barely
not?
be heard. Apparently.
He's underwater, apparently.
Yeah, and he's somewhere below the planet. Not a word. I didn't get that. Make sure you turn Ash up a little bit.
Yeah, I just saw that. I'm turning Goatworn up.
The lamb pig.
One of our viewers asks, "Who's making that taking the bins out noise?" And I assume that's Tom, relocating.
I don't know. I was hearing it might have been me dropping my headphones. I'm not sure. But.
Oh, squeaky chair. Don't you love it? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, you're all good. Good.
Turns out this microphone is highly direct because I've only moved 3 degrees around the screen.
Those who've joined us early, welcome to technical difficulties with Goatworn Armband and the League, as we figure out what's making noise and how to reduce the interference.
Step 1, get a new fucking chair. That is, this is a new chair, so God knows what's so squeaky.
Well, oh no, I don't know whether to say it now. It seemed funny, but I think it might be too harsh.
Are you gonna call me fat because I'm hot?
So I was gonna say it's not the chair. You just need to lose weight. Ouch.
all in good time.
Yeah, see, thing is, right, big brain maneuver when it comes to fitness, yeah? You always say you'll do it the next day. That way, you're not saying you won't do it, but it's ever so slightly out of reach. It's literally, if Ross is tuning in, that's going to give him an aneurysm thinking about that.
That's giving yourself a metaphorical treadmill rather than a physical one, really. That, continuous drive towards something you'll never reach.
Are you boys getting an echo? Because I've taken my headphones out, so I've got you on loudspeaker now.
No,
You're all good to me.
Awesome.
Near echo, pal.
Alex, that is not an invitation to scream certain words.
I can scream in general if you want, but I'm fairly
No,
sure
please
the
don't.
chat won't like it.
Unintelligible gossip.
Well, T minus 2 minutes. We shall. T minus 1 minute. Sorry.
Actually, on second thought, I'm gonna put my headphones back on. I don't try to spit.
What? Because we might chat to your mum.
Yep.
No, wise choice. Wise choice.
I'll throw this fucking chair out the bloody window in a minute. Probably something I can eat on that isn't expensive.
Guthrum is not fat. He has a weight advantage in close combat. He doesn't fight.
No.
Sorry, I did.
In any other circumstances, that would have been a fantastic point.
I did hear you mention me, Tom, but I was more concerned with my duck and pancakes.
Hoary bastard.
Hardly.
Probably a ready meal from out.
Pretty much. You just cook the duck for like a $5 from
Yeah.
Aldi. Serves 2 or 1 fat bastard.
Yeah.
That's the secret of the league. We're held together by your combined gravitational pull.
Nah.
It sells you a bunch.
Yeah, well, obviously, like Just Eastern is small enough that he's just like a small moon orbiting.
Yeah, well, if we weren't quite so big, he would fly away, and we wouldn't manage to hold him in, with our gravitational energy.
I gotta be this size because it's had a toss behind the fucking lines.
What's that?
Well,
Nobody.
I was about to make that joke, Tom. Why would you ruin it?
What joke? I didn't hear it because you both were speaking at the same time. Was it the Gimli one?
Yes.
Yeah.
have to toss me.
About to
Toss me.
Don't tell the elf.
I make that 12:15. So shall we get underway?
Yes, we have 12 viewers.
Ooh, 12 people
12.
with nothing better to do on New Year's Eve.
Honestly, yeah. Brilliant.
Well,
I'm gonna have to get you.
Brilliant.
I can see the chat on.
So,
right. I'll rely on you guys to like call out any worthwhile comments, but otherwise we'll just scroll through at the end. So
Let's see. Ash can barely be heard. Is that still the case?
testing.
should be sorted now.
We can hear you fine. It's someone in the chat saying they can't hear you.
Okay, testing. Give that a few minutes. Give that a second for the delay.
I have turned you up, so.
Okay.
How's that then? Obviously, there's a hell of a
I think
delay.
we've got like half a minute delay, so
Okay. Well, we'll.
so we've got an answer. Sadly, we can hear him.
Oh, well,
No.
well, I'm glad you're not like other comments in other streams where they raise a problem with the stream and then don't reply when the streamer actually asks the question.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So if I can be heard now, welcome to the ultimate podcast of 2020, the 25th episode. 23 and 24 are still being edited, I believe. So you still got more content to come, which is a positive or negative depending on your point of view. Joining me this evening, we have Guthrum of Norvik, Just Eastern Things, and of course the Shire Reeve, and obviously myself, Goatworn Armbands. We are here at the end of what the fuck was this year?
I genuinely, this has genuinely been the worst year of my life.
No, the worst year of your life so far.
Yes. True. Well,
Welcome to 2022 Electric Boogaloo.
I was in an abusive relationship in 2018, and this is somehow worse.
Right.
Wow. Okay, so
Starting off heavy, I see.
Somebody said they gave me a good chuckle the other day, actually, because it was kind of low quality, low effort, but it gave me a good laugh. Like, if 2020 was a group and then just like linked me to the Free War Bands of England, I was like, that's
Wow.
okay. Yeah, I can get that.
fucking hell, ripped off that band-aid off. What was that? 2 minutes into the stream, and we've already dunked on them. But yeah, we've not had any. I mean, we've had some training possibly earlier in the year. I don't know about you guys, but we certainly did. But certainly no events, and it's been weird. But we have made the best of it. We still put out content between us. Like I say, 25 episodes of podcast, whether you wanted it or not. And a virtual Hastings, which, better than nothing. So,
So just a comment from Ben there that I quite liked. 2020 hit us like a blunt axe.
oh. Shit.
Meta. Very meta.
Very
that
meta indeed.
Christ, I was hoping that we'd kind of neatly segue into that a bit later, but we've kind of just, you can't help but bring that up.
Do we do anything neatly?
No, fair enough.
God is dead and we killed him.
So I think it's only fair to what we're going to basically do this evening is, rather than just kind of sitting here wondering what the hell happened to the year, we're going to review it insofar as its impact on reenactments, its impact on us, and we're going to try and take away the positives, really, because Lord knows we've had enough shit this year to fill out all the negative reviews. So we're gonna keep it light, gonna keep it happy.
Rotten tomatoes,
Yeah. So I guess the big thing for us was obviously the formation of the league, which just kind of came about as a joke, really. Just when I I saw that there were 3 other shit posters of note, and
yeah, all the other ones are not as good as us.
Yeah, absolutely. Saw that was enough to do a Ginyu Force reference, and then kind of follow up on a joke that had come about from a long thread about leather lamella on Just Eastern's page.
Oh, Mr. Kjal, or whatever his name was.
Yeah, it's Kyle, but his mum.
Still waiting for him to fight me.
Yes,
It's been a while now.
I don't know if it's going to happen this year because of social distancing. So he'll just have to continue bitching at you instead.
No. We can just give you a really long, inauthentic Dane axes and spears to poke each other with.
My Jim's address, it never came.
You told me to fight him in the ring, and yet There is no ring,
Just make it a bigger ring.
except for his clenched arsehole.
Oh, God. So, that aside, yeah, it kind of started as a joke, and here we are at the end of the year, firm friends, which is, given that we're all in very different parts of the country, very different backgrounds, and also all four of us are in different styles of groups. Which, for those of you who aren't already aware, I'm in an independent group and always have been. Guthrum is part of the Vike, moving into Regia at some point.
I am officially a regular member of the
You're
Latin. Obviously,
officially-
I have to know,
It was
events
going to be
win.
his first
Of
event
course.
this year, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
well, I think we all know what
So-
happened there.
So you've bridged the gap there, obviously, between the two.
Well, dual membership
Shire-
with many societies is always worth it.
Yeah, Shire Reeve obviously being the
Hello.
original Regia
Yeah, well,
candidates for the league, and
I've,
Just Eastern. Well, it's in the name,
and I
isn't
will
it?
hopefully be joining your group, Goatworn.
Yeah, I've spoken to Sarge. You're going to get hazed when you join. You know that.
I look forward to it.
Okay.
Make it a good one.
Yeah. So, how what did you expect that, guys? Did you? What's your take on it?
Honestly, I had no idea what to expect when we started doing leaguey stuff and podcasts. But honestly, I wouldn't be without it now.
Mm.
I would not have survived 2020 if it weren't for you crazy
You're the
motherfuckers.
best bunch of shit posters.
Yeah, without doubt.
Sorry, I'm half
You
a
got a
mouthful
duck
in
in your
duck.
throat.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Just Eastern? Could you care less, or could you?
Oh no, I think it's strange because most of us somehow have met each other. I think the only people that haven't actually met each other at all, or might just be me and you. I'm not sure, but I know our groups have met. So it's strange to think even before all of this, we've had a very small kind of interactions. Somewhere
And
along the
hadn't
lines.
necessarily clocked it either.
Yeah, we didn't even realize multiple
Yeah, yeah.
times until quite late into it.
Actually, I've got the three for me. Ordgar, I actually joined in a training session with them at Hastings
Go
27.
on.
Yep,
I'm really sorry to stop you, but could we not name groups, please?
yep. Unfortunately, this is live, but
Yeah, I
I
know.
think that what you were trying to say is you into a training session where Guthrum's group was in a couple of years back.
Yes.
But
Yes.
What you were saying.
it's all right. We'll edit that one out. That's somehow with time travel.
I mean,
Um,
we won't, but we won't mention it any
Yeah.
further point. So
Yeah.
So
That's fine.
yeah, they were training at the bottom of that massive hill, where the steps go up, where everyone kind of did their backs in last year. They were training. I happened to be walking past in kit, and somebody turned around and went, "Oh, why aren't you joining in?" Just made some kind of comment. And I went, "Oh, okay." Put on my helmet and got the shield out, and they went, "Oh, okay," and I just started beasting the guy.
you just flexed on him, Goatworn style.
So I just mucked in and had a quick natter around, which was actually really good. It was a good warm up. Just Eastern's group, I have actually trained with my group, so I have fought them. But typically, it was the day that Just Eastern wasn't available to join them. As for Regia, whilst not specifically Shire Reeve's group, I did join. If you look at all their social media recently,
Yes. No. I was
just
there.
seen me
That's
on the end of
that's
the
the
line.
worst bit. I was there, and
Yeah.
somehow he snuck in on the end, and I have no idea how you did that.
Well, it was. A lot
You're
of those
right at the front.
Yeah, those promo pictures were taken at the Sunday last year, where it was just me left of my group from Anna and one other person, but I was the only fighter left. So I mucked in with Regia on the end. But just because, by virtue of where I was stood in the line, I ended up being right on the public line, the crowd line, which meant that all the promo pictures that Regia have used of them at Hastings have featured me.
It,
So
it does have you in it, and it's quite funny really because you're just there.
Yeah, it's honestly and it's so many photos as well. So I've been playing Where's Waldo with Regia's promo pictures.
Yeah, quite so.
I think it's been interesting because, like, I've been at 3 or 4 events, I think, where Shia Reeves been. We've crossed paths last year. Last year we actually crossed paths.
Ammanford.
We had no idea. Yeah.
Well,
no
the thing is,
idea.
I think I spoke to you guys a couple of times, just in passing and stuff. And I was honestly, like, at the time, I was quite impressed by the quality of your kit as well. Having had little interaction with the Eastern scene, of course. But I remember thinking that a lot of your kit was actually quite nice. As a group, and obviously I was there in a 15th century capacity rather than Viking Age, but yeah.
Was that your alien saucer helmet?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Alien Saucer Helmet Mark 1, It was
What is that, by the way? Because I've seen a few people wear it.
It's a kettle helmet. It's a kettle helmet.
Right, that is the kettle.
Yeah, it's obviously only one style, but they bring the actual brim down to starting where your eyes are, and then or just above, and then they slope it down more aggressively, and then they put holes in it.
It's such a weird looking helmet, and I had a lot of fun drawing you in it when I did the bit with me. Because I just had to, although you weren't specifically the one doing like the weapons check or the notice about black powder being revealed. Just because you were there and obviously witnessed the whole thing, and because it's such a distinctive design, I just had to feature it.
That was an interesting battle.
Well, we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah,
but the great thing about the podcasts, as I recall, was that we did one, which I always refer to as Goatworn Armcast, because none of us were really used to talking on stream or on a recording before, and we're all going
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that you do get better at, but I think you worry about it less as time goes on.
Yeah, well, you get into a natural flow, and we just lost. There, you good?
I think we've got everyone.
Okay, good. You dropped out for a second there. Yeah, we got into a flow, and the second episode was so much better anyway. And there was a marked improvement as the episodes went on. But the thing that stood out for me was that we got the episode done, and pretty much the day after, they dropped the trailer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which meant that we were in a unique position where, I believe, even though we don't have a massive YouTube presence,
it was like
we're
episode
one of
2 or 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 2.
Yeah.
Because I think 3 was Hammer Hearts, where we talked to Bennett.
Oh, yes.
That makes that is that is ringing bells. Yes.
Yeah. So we started off, and then right off the bat had the opportunity to become the first ones to take a look at the trailer and review it, even if we weren't particularly massive presence at the time. It's I love that timing, because that's precisely the sort of thing that in our own time we'd be bitching to each other about. As
Well, we were.
Still are.
Still
Oh,
are,
yes.
yes.
we should do a follow-up episode actually next year where we look at review our predictions that we made in that episode and compare it to how the game actually turned out, because we thought it couldn't get any more inauthentic, and
It's just worse. It's worse than we thought it was, which is
it's so
astonishing
fucking terrible.
because it was already terrible.
I thought, like, high definition Finris was like the worst thing about the trailer, and we now have, what was it, the fucking Gallowglass armor, which is just straight out of Skyrim. Like, that's not even remotely historical, and it's definitely just, oh god, I did share a post on it the back along, but it's truly awful.
Yeah.
Christ, I've not brought myself. I told myself I'd buy the game, when it goes on sale, simply due to the fact that kind of I just want to experience it, because as much as we bitch about sort of stuff, I do like the quote unquote Viking Age. But the more I've seen of the game, the more I just, mechanic wise, it's not Assassin's Creed for me. But I don't want to put time into it.
Well,
And, like,
apparently it's a perfectly
going-
good game, but it doesn't seem. I mean, this is aside from authenticity. It doesn't even seem to be that related to other Assassin's Creed games. And as far as authenticity goes, well, I mean, we don't even have to talk about that.
It's a very shameless cash-in on the popularity of History Channel's Vikings and Last Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, and you can see it in the kit, because as we discussed in the episode itself, the kit doesn't start at historical and then add artistic license. It starts at straight up lifting kit and costume from the TV show.
Yeah.
And I think it's to its detriment, because okay, it's Assassin's Creed, it's not based in reality, fine, but the gameplay has been buggy, according to a lot of people I've spoken to and a lot of reviews. It's also been nothing like the gameplay of Assassin's Creed. So if you're in for an Assassin's Creed game,
But
you're not.
They haven't
getting
been though,
that.
have they? They haven't been since Origins. Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed Origins,
Yeah.
because they're more of an RPG now.
Well, even
what
like
was-
3 was quite different from a lot of Assassin's Creed games, because it was.
I think it's just suffered from a lack of identity by not committing to. It's not an Assassin's Creed game. It's not a historical based game. So what is it? And in the end, it just becomes a lesser version of Skyrim. You know?
Yeah.
If I want fantastical Viking-esque characters and locations, I will play Skyrim 100% of the time. You give me the choice, I will play Skyrim or even God of War.
That's it, isn't it? Funny enough, you mentioned that one of my pals actually bought Assassin's Creed today, and I spoke to him. I just wanted to touch up on it before you go further. Someone mentioned, I've got no idea if it's true or not, is that the Assassin's Creed game actually had a couple of pretty good Viking Age historians working on it, who gave them some really amazing feedback and such, and they chose not to go with it.
Yeah,
because they weren't Viking enough.
The problem is as well is they then use we've used historical advisors, but just because they've used them doesn't mean they listen to them. And the problem is they shouldn't be able to say, oh, we use these historical advisors if none of the information that they were told was transferred over.
Yeah.
It's disingenuous in the least.
Just a quick question. Who are the experts they called in? I know Dr. Crawford was one of them, but as I understand it...
And I believe there was someone else, but what I was going to bring up in that vein was that the experts they were both linguists. So Jackson Crawford's
That's what I was about to
area of
say.
expertise is the language and
And the myths.
the myths and the etymology.
So
Is he the American guy? The
Yes.
one that, yeah, because
Yeah, he's got that giant like bird claw cane back scratcher thing. I don't know if you've ever seen him use that in an episode. I watched an episode where I think was he talking about runes or was he talking about berserkers? And every like now and again he'd scratch his back with this fuck off great, like as far as I can see, this dinosaur foot.
it sounds like someone I would get on with.
to be fair, though, having a linguist in the game would be, I've not played the game, so I honestly can't comment on
Yeah.
it, and I've not even really watched much. It doesn't interest me too much from what I've seen anyway. But having a linguist actually is fucking amazing. That to me, and I know we were touching up on it, swear it's apologies, but if you could go into a game and be able to do this stuff and actually hear it, it is amazing. And Ubisoft, I know this is a game podcast, but I doubt you guys know, but Ubisoft actually has some of the best mapping technology for buildings in the world. In fact,
Really?
they've got the best and currently best complete. What I can't remember the name of the thing, but when Notre Dame burned last year, whenever it went on fire, they have the single best kind of high res everything.
Yes. Yeah.
So they've got the technology to do some absolutely phenomenal stuff, and they've got the money behind it.
Well, I think that was what disappointed a lot of people who enjoyed that aspect of the game, because even with the artistic license in there, you still had very accurate recreations of cities and buildings because they used the blueprint. What I think Toby brought it up about the most recent game is that they got the Viking. They got was it Lincoln? They got wrong. They got the topography completely wrong.
Oh right. Oh yes, no, that's right. I think it was Ross who said the two biggest cities were London and York. I think when London wasn't that big at the time. I mean, it wasn't a minor place, but realistically, the two largest places should be Winchester and York.
Yeah, but they apparently, because Toby was bringing up that it's his hometown that features in the game. There's a place named for a hill, and not only did they leave the hill out of the game, they surrounded the town with mountains that were never there.
Oh, Norfolk has mountains as well, which is just hilarious because it's flat.
That really fucked me off because Norfolk and Lincoln is well known for being dead flat.
Legendarily
there are hills
so.
in Norfolk, but Lincoln especially is known for being flat.
Yeah.
And they put fucking mountains in it.
Yeah, that was it.
And
that's precisely it.
I mean, you if you've ever driven across Norfolk, you can just tell how wrong it is. I mean, most of it you're driving across a flat, farmland.
Well,
Clear
in the interest of saving some of that we can milk for a future episode, we'll set aside Assassin's Creed Valhalla for a moment and segue on to of the podcast. What's been your favourite moment in the podcast with us, like interacting and recording together?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Whenever I make a really in-joke meme and I create a picture and then post it to hear your reactions live. Whenever I do that is my favorite.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's fun.
Especially when I did it for
In a
Ross.
recent episode,
When
shit.
Yeah, when I did Ross's face, the guys have obviously not seen it. I'm not sure.
I think I know
When I
the
put
image
Ross's
you're
face
talking
on the
about.
underpants model.
Yeah.
And he just completely lost it. That was great.
I think the best moment for me has been actual impact on the reenactment community. Like, we can all chat shit, but, we're actually doing something.
Do you want to elaborate?
Well, I mean, for example, there was the the situation with Woofer where, you know, I think there was one that was our Farb of the Week, and now, you know, his kit's so much better, really, really good looking, and I was blown away by that. I really was, and also that the rest of WFA are improving. I know their leader has really fought to try and actually get the standards up, and obviously, you know, they're not perfect yet, but they're improving rapidly, really
Well,
rapidly.
I'll put it because I know we all want to talk about that at quite some length, and it's definitely
Yeah.
worth looking at. But in more general terms, that was kind of the drive behind the Farb of the Week. Was it's a bit humorous, you know, and it all happens online where like anti-Varangian Guard, Elite
God.
Warriors, Lords of Metal, etc., where people put in bad kit and we all have a laugh. And we wanted to keep some of that element, but we were insistent that we'd state why the kit was bad and, more importantly, how to improve it. Because at the end of the day, it's almost pointless to just go,
say that's
"What kit
bad." Yeah.
We have shared our own kit in one of the podcast episodes, and you know we were pretty much all dog shit. Yeah, there was some good
like,
points.
I mean,
We all
sorry.
no, go ahead. The improvement's always there, isn't it? And we can see.
Yeah.
I know behind the scenes, kind of touching on what you said there, Goatworn. We never went into it with malice in our hearts. We went into it to have a bit of a laugh and joke, and hopefully, you know, the other person would have a little bit of a laugh and joke with it as well. And yeah, I think we definitely accomplished that so far, and hopefully we continue to do that going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, my kit was proper shoddy, and I know Barcy has being one of the guys that really fought for historical accuracy in our old group, because we used to be in a group together. He knows the kind of quality that not just me but our entire group had at the time, and he he did kind of laugh because the kit I put up was not the first kit, but it was the first kit that made it to events. Because my first kit before that was a off the peg cotton tunic, that same owl man helmet, and yeah, very, very, very questionable. The boots were felt, like, yeah, that kind of not felt. It felt like felt. Suede. They were suede boots, and they were like the inverted commas Hedeby style. Yeah, but I think that was the important part of it, was that we had shit kit. We know why it was shit and why it was important to move, you know, to better quality kit. So I'm glad we did that correctly, and I'm glad that we've seen and we will discuss in a bit, it's had tangible positive effects for people.
Yeah.
Guthrum, what's your favourite or memorable moment from the podcast?
Honestly, you guys have had me in stitches so much. I think swathes of my memory has been erased. It's been belly laugh after belly laugh, and as you guys know, I've got a bit of a habit of being a miserable sod.
Wait,
So to
really?
make me proper, yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Same.
But for you guys to properly make me laugh, I think it's something special. You know, on the regular too. You know, great. Honestly,
Okay.
the whole thing. I don't think there's been a few squeaky bum moments, like oh shit, we shouldn't have said that, or oh shit, here comes trouble. But honestly, they all blew over. They all, you know, just the whole thing's been great. Honestly,
Well, so because it's my right and privilege as head of the league, I've got a couple. First off, and I think it is a special mention, Conrad as a guest. both as when he came on by himself and as a pairing with Ross.
I adore Comrade. I don't like editing him,
But yeah,
but
I know that.
I love having him on.
He's just a force of chaos. Like, I think I know he frustrates you, Shirey, because I know you like things a bit ordered and neatly stacked in the way that I do in a lot of ways.
Oh no, it's purely for editing. It's objectively the amount of jump cuts I need to make.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm referring to.
So, like,
literally, it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
One minute. You guys, it is live, so you guys can't see. But when was that made? And why have I never seen that before?
When was what made?
What I just think.
Just
image-
now, Comrade posted
just
it.
an,
Yes.
It's just
yeah, brand new, mate.
I'm not image sharing that. I'm not image sharing that.
So
Christ alive!
I will do an audio description though. What's the original source? Okay, I'm not going to ask that. But
That's all I'm saying.
it's an image of three buxom babes in skimpy
Sloopy
Santa costumes, but the faces have all been photoshopped into Just Eastern things, Comrade and Tom.
I look the least like.
You look more innocent. You know you.
I'm quite
Oh,
happy
no.
about
And then it's a picture of me where I'd must up my tack, so it's all curly and refined looking too. It's brilliant.
So, yeah. So, as you speak of the devil, and he
Speaking
appears,
of,
Yes, same image.
just
Yeah.
and shitposts. But yeah, so he's just been this fantastic agent of chaos who's been a delight to work with, but also a massive frustration for those of us who like to keep things on track.
oh Christ, he's done another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's exactly the same, but this time it's me, Was the Woman, and Goatworn Armband.
Speaking of, that does bring me to my 2 of 3. The absolute thirst for Ross the Roman that I experienced after
Ross the Woman.
sharing images of him in kit.
Yes.
Honestly, the messages I got about him are just borderline pornographic. It's truly there are some real wrong-uns among you, my dear beloved audience. You're naming no names, you know.
Stop being a simp.
Yes,
Simp.
but a sexy cut Roman. But he's such a lovely guy. I can't begrudge him it.
Ross.
And,
the problem with Ross is, if he was an arsehole, you could say, oh, he's good looking, but, he's a twat.
He's not.
The problem is, he's lovely.
He's too pure.
So he's good looking, and he's lovely. I mean, we can't compete.
No.
Yeah.
I had to beg him. It's like, dude, just save some putty for the rest of us. It's
Just a crumb.
just a crumb, Ross, please.
I single crumb of the gene for the rest.
It's like it really is like the Roman Empire across and leaving nothing for us poor Germanics.
Yeah, he's put the thumb down.
You lot are doing your kind of Germanic kits and whatnot. I'm going to be a senator. Don't forget when we do the Roman stuff.
Yeah, it's just so you can quote like blasted TV
No.
show.
You just lie down on one of those lying sofas or whatever they're called, with a
lying sofa.
you know what I mean, that like a lilo kind of thing. And then you've got a bowl with grapes in it, and you just pluck one
Once
off
again,
at a time.
due for a show. Crock of arse.
You know what's going to be brilliant about it is that Just Eastern isn't going to be. He isn't tall enough that he reaches the end of the futon.
So can we
he's been laid
just to
at one
just
end
to
of
say
this
we've got a
space.
comment from Anna to the Ross discussion going just
Oh, horny.
bonk.
Get grug. Get grug.
Go to horny
Get
jail.
drunk.
No, we're
So,
not, the comedy would be lost. There's no video.
So the final one would be the shit. I've forgotten already. The bits where we had to the episode where we had to edit out part of what was said because it was too spicy to air.
Which one?
What?
Which
Yeah.
one?
So much.
You know, like, hold on 1 minute. That's literally insert that meme. Do you know how little that narrows?
I
it
think
down?
genuinely,
like,
I think
come
that's
on.
happened in every single episode.
Okay, so to clarify, it was funny as it was, but we're reviewing the footage afterwards. Watching the edited version that made it to YouTube. Shah Reeve had done a fantastic edit where it cut to the
The TV
You know,
thing with the bars.
TV.
Yeah,
That's it. And it happened like
that's right.
once after the other. It just had me creasing because it was just perfectly timed.
Yeah,
And I think it's little things like that that just kick my ass in terms of making me laugh. But onwards and upwards or downwards, as it were. Love the highlights of 2020. So, looking at my list, there's one that I need to address very quickly, and I'm going to take the floor on this one because you'll see why when I put it together. Obviously, this year we saw the final collapse of the Free War Bands of England, whereupon their admin told everyone they were a pile of shit and deleted their social media and websites because they hadn't been used. And they hadn't replaced him as an admin, even though he'd left long before because he was tired of what was going on. We've all seen the Axe video. We've all seen the screenshots of ex-members giving their accounts
Oh yes,
of everything.
the video where he doesn't hit people on the head with a blunt axe.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yes. Well, so I've been reliably told this by a couple of people now, and I laughed every single time I got told the same thing, that the few people who remain and are still within and trying to run the thing have all blamed my comics for its collapse.
Okay, guys. So shall we blame the several videos and photographs of one of our members headshotting people with a sharp axe and causing a wound that then later went on to cause a dangerous blood clot? Or, could it be that? Or could it be that some cartoon is making fun of us?
So alt tab and create a meme. You know the one where it's is this what it is? No, it's them that is wrong.
Yeah. Am I out of touch? No, it is them who is. So the reason I'm taking the floor on this is because we could have a long discussion, and to be honest, I want to save that for a full episode where we can break down every single thing that went wrong. Because
the founding members are to blame, I think. All three of them.
Well, everything aside, it's a fascinating case study in how not to run a project. And in the same way that we've broken down bad kit, it'd be good to break down what went wrong and why. Also, because it directly blaming me for the comics. Blaming my comics for the fall. Obviously, I'm responsible for my comics. No one's disputing that. But that's the logic of grown adults. that
You know what it is, isn't it? It was always it's the exact same mentality that gets put kind of outside, and I'm not going to go into kind of personal kind of remarks against them, but they always struck me as the type of people that everybody else is to blame for anything
Well,
apart from them.
this is what I want. This is all I want to say on it, and then we can move on to the. We'll save it for a future episode, etc., etc. Talk about other things. But at the point where you have a high-profile member nearly kill someone at an event,
who was since promoted.
what? If you let me finish, not because of one, like, shit happens, accidents happen, it's a dangerous hobby, etc., etc. Repeated shots to the head with a sharp weapon that wasn't suitable for the field. When you have that happen, when you have, as the Shire Reeve pointed out, he gets promoted and no negative action is taken against him. I mean, fuck me. All Flag had that massive fallout thing in, live streaming a brawl, basically, and all the shit that went down with that.
The astonishing thing is that at the event, I was told he was being dealt with and he was being banned. However, he did the whole, I didn't mean it, and got away with it, which I didn't find out until these posts came out and things, and that fucking appalled me. That I'm not casting any aspersions on the event, because I mean Midfest is a great event, but the way that was dealt with, especially within his own group, I saw the his group leader and one of the other high profile members of his group, and they had brought and this is demonstrably untrue, because we know that he was using it regularly, that they knew that he was using it. It was at the commanders meeting, it was at previous events, and they had brought up a blunted, safe axe and said, oh, we didn't know he was on the field with that, he was supposed to be on the field with this. And it's like, I mean, at the time, there was nothing I could say, because I hadn't seen more of it. Now, it's just a lie. It's a lie.
Yeah. This is what I want to kind of sum up with this, because any comment or argument that outside forces are to blame for the three warbands falling apart start and end with Midfest. Whatever argument you have that, people, I don't know.
Someone almost fucking died at the end of the day.
Yeah, whatever excuse you want to make, you had a guy nearly kill someone. No action was taken against him. He is now the leader of his group. He's now a fundamental part of the reps who organise the free warbands. And that you spend more time comparing comics than you do addressing safety issues and kit issues and attitude issues within a society. That is why you fall apart. There's nothing to do with a couple of comics online. I mean, I've taken the piss out of Normanus, I've taken the piss out of Gregia, I've taken the piss out of Eastern, I've taken the piss out of Ulflag, who are, their conduct is a bit questionable at times, but I get good banter in return for them, and they haven't collapsed. And I brought up that the Holm Gang thing, that was sorted in-house. Those people responsible got taken to task on it. They've had repercussions. They're missing events. They don't get the same freedoms they ordinarily would have within the group. They have been punished. That has not happened with this Axe thing. And the groups that remain...
I think it has, though, realistically, because when it went public, the little people that would have dropped these guys an invite would
it has now. No, it has now. But what we're saying is that at the time...
No. What I mean by that is that there have been repercussions in that people have seen it and now won't invite them.
I
mean, in-house.
Yeah.
Because obviously, externally, we can all make the decision not to take the field with those people.
Yeah.
you can judge a society by how it deals with that sort of thing.
And I'm
And
fairly
what we
certain
see
that
is excuses.
or I'm fairly certain in saying that if any of our groups, if someone tried to do that in any of our groups, they would in the least have the weapon removed. In the least.
My
If they had
Jarl
taken
actually
to the-
commented on the main video when it went up and said, "Yeah, if any of my guys did that, they would no longer be a member of my group."
Yeah. If
And that has been echoed quite a lot.
if in the least he turns up to muster, they see it, they tell him to fuck off. But after what he did, that's a ban. That's a
Yeah.
ban from any group.
But yeah, so for that to be the allowable, for that to be your standard, and to have numerous other reasons, which, like I say, I'll do an episode on it. We'll break down the free war bans from start to finish, because it is an interesting case study. For that to be your standard, and then to go, oh, the mean comics are to blame, pathetic.
No, fuck off.
Utterly pathetic. You're a grown adult. Take some responsibility. Fuck you. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say on that. Which
Fuck
went
the free
on
war
long
bans of England.
Yeah, that's it. But they're done now.
Done,
They've been
yeah.
blacklisted. I'm happy to broadcast that they've been blacklisted from every national event. Named individuals have also been blacklisted because of photographed or videoed actions and screenshotted responses to the incident in question. Things like, "Oh, it's just a pressure wound." Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's not. It really
It's-
isn't. The guy had a
it's-
heart attack.
Yeah.
The guy nearly died, so it's not a pressure
he-
wound.
He got a clot from
Oh, but
it.
I'm not sticking up tall for the other side. But we didn't know about the heart attack until afterwards. We knew it was
no, that was
an
much
injury.
afterwards.
The biggest takeaway for that event, and again, I don't want to dwell on that because kind of digging this as far as they can fucking go at the moment, is the fact that I was at that event. A huge portion of the Eastern community in the UK were at that event, and none of us knew about it
Yeah.
at all. Yep. Not one of us knew about it. In fact,
That's genuinely the crazy bit of it, because the thing is, it happened on the field, and I think I was the only person who actually saw it happen, saw who did it, because I obviously it was filmed, as we discussed, but I saw him do it. I assumed the guy was okay afterwards, and then because I was quote unquote dead on the ground, whatever. And then I hear the call for medic, and I'm like, fuck. Because I saw him go down heavily,
well,
but
like,
I just assumed
some
he was...
injuries happening at the
Yeah.
event, because at the end of the day, no matter what we put it down to, we play with lumps of steel, and people do skimp out on cheap equipment, and I've seen what cheap equipment can do protection wise, and it's not good. But there's nothing, like you said, Goatworn, there's nothing in that that remotely puts the person that received that big hit, never mind all of the others as well, in a negative light. It was entirely due to the act.
Yeah.
Entirely. And anything to argue against it is not just stupid, but it's dangerous.
I think that's it. Is that you can take what action you want. Like if you decide to forgive him and decide to retrain him, whatever, still have him in the group, fine. That's whatever. That's your thing. But to have that as an accepted standard of your society, and then have the audacity to blame cartoons on the internet for your failures, is just a failure of responsibility and a failure as a society.
The worst thing is, after it happened, like I said, I think I was the only person who actually saw him go down, because they were asking, who did it. I didn't immediately tell them. I went up to the guy who did it. I'm not going to name names, and said to him, "You need to go over there and tell them that you did that right now, or they'll find out." And he didn't even fucking realize what he'd done.
No, he's a dangerous, and he shouldn't be anywhere near the field.
Well, the video was had its first dislike, so I'm going to say it was them. it's it's a conspiracy from them. But the live stream has had its first dislikes. Started discussing it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
you had a dislike. Imagine that.
Boots. To be
Someone
honest,
doesn't
it-
like Goatworn Armband.
I won't like again. I don't want to touch up on it too much because we've got other stuff to go through in the live stream.
Yeah.
But I personally, and I know a lot of the fledgling Eastern community when it first kind of really started with the other main groups, Blood On, Krafen, Vrengi, and my own group, Ring Skipper. And I don't mind dropping these names. People fucking know me anyway now. Stupid, but we were in the free war bands of England for all of 4 months, I think, before we got told we were dangerous. Too dangerous to go to the event.
Oh, what a joke! What a joke!
And obviously, we all mass left. I'm not sure if people who were in this call knew about that back in the day. I'm not sure. I know you know now. And then,
So-
obviously, for that to happen like less than a year later, kind of really proves our point that we haven't had very many, and we've had some. Don't get me wrong, but we haven't had very many safety issues at our events due to the nature of Easton. We do tend to get a little.
Anything that
a little
comes
injury,
from the natural, like at the end of the day, Eastern, you're doing headshots, you're doing more risky shot, quote unquote risky than other fighting styles. Accidents happen, but what comes down to accidents happen in Eastern and Western is not obviously how this came across.
Yeah.
And the
So,
fact that you were all kicked out of the free war bands for
No, we
being
weren't kicked.
dangerous.
None of us were kicked. We all left.
You were just told.
That's
You were just
something I want.
told you were dangerous.
More to it than that, but that's nothing for today. Don't worry.
Fair enough.
So-
Fair enough.
the point I'll leave it on, just to touch on what Just Easton brought up, is because I know from Harathan and from other Eastern groups that they were kicked because basically you guys were a threat to the idea that these the old ways crowd weren't as good fighters as they thought they were. You guys, whether you approve of Eastern style or not, it's a lot harder. It is a sport. Whatever your thoughts on it historically or whatever as reenactment, it is harder. You go in, you do a lot more. You wear yourself out a lot more, and you've got more concerns because you are doing headshots and all the rest of it. You guys are a threat to anyone who thinks of themselves as a warrior, which a lot of people in the free war bands did, particularly Mr. Peter Seymour, who did that speech to member groups about how without heathenry, groups are just hitting each other, and just the Eastern groups are just twatting each other as hard as they can, and it means nothing.
Yes, Peter. Well, we all threw sharp javelins at each other, and if people didn't like it, they could fuck off Seymour.
Yeah, which is hilarious because, I mean, for many reasons. Heathenry is the core point of Viking reenactment. Vikings were Christian for most of the period.
And
That's
also,
also
that doesn't
leaving out
consider
those-
other nations. Yeah, Viking age.
Do people who do medieval reenactment need to be Christian? Like, what the fuck is that logic? Anyway, we'll leave it there because, like I say, we can do a full episode, and we will next year on breaking that down. Because
Christ.
there are some. Once we hit certain targets, there are more reveals to be had out of that. So, positives. We didn't have any events this year, but we did have. I don't want to say the next best thing because it's really not as good as a.
I
full
had one event, but it was. Oh yes.
Which is, we had something, and I know we kind of covered it in
Of the
episodes.
one of the episodes that I'm still editing. Yeah.
Yes. So, being that we're waiting on that, guys, what were your thoughts on it? What's your because you all had a creative input, so I'm interested to hear your. Now we've had a few months to digest it.
It was a good giggle. Yeah. What? Something died. Hello. Yes.
No,
sorry.
we're listening intently.
I haven't got a lot to say really. It was a good giggle. It was. We were frankly, we were in a really shit place at the time, and I think that was, yeah, it was. I'm really not good with my words today. So fuck's sake, move on.
I'll take that. I'll take it as a compliment.
Yes, it was meant as a compliment. It was great.
Shire Reeve, because I know you did lion's share of the editing, which I was very grateful.
To be fair, I know Ross did a lot as well. I only did one or two. I did the long falconry one, and I think Matt, who was doing the horse stuff, showed me some stuff, but I didn't edit any of that. I thought it was great, mate. I've already said this on the original episode, but I thought it was something really nice for the community. Yes, we are live, Alexander. It's funny. We've most of the chat seems to just be banter, so we're. If anything very interesting comes up, we will mention it. We've got obviously subjects planned and stuff, so I hope you enjoy. Anyway, Hastings, it was good. I thought I was actually impressed by how much you did, or how much was part of the whole experience, shall we say?
Yeah,
I would like to see Broke Hastings next time. With their squawking at pigeons or whatever it was.
Yeah, so I'll let Just Eastern get his comments in, and then I'll touch on that.
Big ones on it. I think what you did for the community with Hastings, for us all, it was really enjoyable to watch. Really, really enjoyable to watch. Not just for the memes and whatnot, but the actual kind of effort and kind of love, care, that sort of stuff, that went into it. It was really good, wholesome to see.
Absolutely.
The whole thing. And I definitely, I said it on the date, and I'll say it again, that itself was really good. And hopefully, kind of 10 years from now or whatnot, we can sit around a campfire. I'll actually have a kid that knows what the heck they're doing, as opposed to just eating his hands at the moment. And then say, when you were born, son, like this is what happened that year.
But that's a good time to mention. Good things that happened in 2020. Just Eastern has a baby. I did want to do I did consider doing like a Lion King style art of
Simba
passing him to me, and I put salt on his head and hold him up in front of the audience.
We'll do it live.
Do it live, yeah. We'll do it live. Bring him to Hastings. I'll do it then. But yeah, so it's kind of nice to hear the positive feedback. I know it's easy to say that you guys are biased because you're my mates, but at the same time, I've seen the criticism that you guys can deal out and you don't hold back. So I know, the positives do mean.
Yeah, if it was shit, I would still have enjoyed it because it would have been comedically shit. Right, it would have been, no, just because I know how you are, it would have been a different kind of funny, but I would tell you if I thought it was just shit, and it really wasn't.
Seconded.
It was very good,
honestly. Put it this way, English Heritage bloody didn't.
English Heritage didn't try to charge parking for it, to be honest.
Oh shit! I missed a trick there, didn't I?
Yeah. Your little joke
Pay-per-view.
from these things. Your
yeah. Where's the wonderfully authentic gift shop?
Actors can't go into shops because it's not authentic to do so, but we will have awesome music blaring over the speakers or whatever.
I could, as a local to Battle, I could tell you even more tea about English Heritage and specifically their governance of Battle Abbey. If you'd like a little bit of tea.
Episode idea?
Yeah.
Not get ourselves banned from the
All
English Heritage event.
We can milk an episode. We've milked out the last.
We have.
Let's be honest.
We like milking out here on the Goatworn Armcast.
we all have a bone to pick with various organisations, so I'm sure we
Dislikes
can.
gone. Who disliked the video and where's it gone? You bastard! I see
I
you.
believe that was Morden Guard.
I see you. Okay.
So, yeah, not to give too much away, because I definitely want to do more next year with that idea of a virtual event. Honestly, I know this will get repeated in the episode we're editing, and but literally my idea was that I had the miniatures, that was fine, that was accounted for. But aside from that, the falconry display would have been me shouting at pigeons and hoping that the resident sparrowhawk appeared. The cavalry display was just going to be me filming snails rocketing around like a bowl or something.
I said this as well, but Matt's cavalry display. What was awesome about that is the blooper reel.
Yeah,
it was so on brand.
It's the same thing.
It was so on brand, and it was really funny. Hello.
Yeah, no, we're just listening in.
Taking it in.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to not only you guys who obviously put in your input, but to all the people who contributed, even if it was just some voice acting for the Living History display, to a full falconry display in someone's garden. Like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting. And I do have to credit, I do have to credit Anna for that one, because that came about as a chance conversation when we met up for a catch up and some drinks. That she happened to know those people and messaged them on my behalf just to ask, would you do it? So as thanks for that, those guys will be invited to the event I'm hoping to host when we're able to host events again.
Hingston Down, isn't it?
Hingston Down. I'll be inviting them to that.
I think that'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And I hope the audience listening enjoyed Hastings, because as much as it was a stress and a frustration to put some of it together, I thoroughly enjoyed the process of putting that together.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, I absolutely would. Seeing the results, yes.
Yeah. Now you know what it's worth.
Particularly getting messages that when that twist happened, where I changed the script and Godwinson isn't killed, he's saved, people went, dude, I lost my shit. And they just how, like, it caught them
Summon the
unaware.
league!
Yeah. Do. I'm so glad I went with that theme tune as well. There was a choice to use the medieval version, or the what do they call it? Bardcore.
Yes.
But the text to speech one was a lot better, the metal version.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, no, that was fucking enjoyable to put together. I really enjoyed doing all that.
So just a brief what's the word? Ad-lib thought. I like that with this, we're not as pressured on time for, a podcast episode.
No,
obviously, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I know we usually try and keep it to an hour thereabouts, plus or minus some editing. But we're going to go for the 2 hours on this. We've got a couple more.
I'm really not fussed on how long it ends up. I think if we get through everything we want to get through, then that would be, if you guys are up for that. Yeah.
Well, as long as we've got people viewing.
Yeah. If everyone fucks off after 2 hours, then it's not much good, is it? But we still have 13. We had 13 at the start. We have 13 now. Maybe a couple have swapped around a bit, but
also just these things. The great thing about Discord is that it tells me when you're playing War Thunder.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest here. Most of us are probably sat doing something else. I'm
To
sat polishing some copper
I'm
alloy.
not doing anything, unfortunately, because
You're polishing your knob.
Oh, polishing his helmet. Yeah, the.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
if I do
It's actually
anything
a
else,
wire
if I
wrap
do
on
anything
knife.
else on my computer, it'll come through from my sound.
Yeah.
So I've got to be careful not to do that.
Virtual audio cable lad here. Everything's specific. Get on my level, peasant.
I love the idea that you joked that Guthrum was bashing one out, but imagine that's the ultimate danger wank, isn't it? Like live on stream.
Maybe that's what gets him off.
Yeah, like
It's all fun
Can
and games,
confirm
but,
Tom is a wrong 'un.
so. Sticking with positivity, and it was brought up earlier, and it's something
No, we're
that we
cyber bullies, so there's no
Yes.
positivity here.
positivity.
American, I'm going to cyberbully you.
It's all unconstructive. So Wuffer, in like possibly
Yes.
the biggest twist of 2020 in the reenactment scene, have booted old leadership,
Yeah.
turned their shit around, and fuck me, the result.
I genuinely feel confident in saying Woofer no longer deserve to be held up as the
Yeah.
you know people say, oh, that's Woofer tier, I don't think it should be said
Or,
anymore. I'll be honest, I don't
go
think
back
it should
to
be
what-
said anymore. Because
I see him in action at an event. The meme still stands.
that's very fair.
Well,
I
I've
just
seen
mean-
the before and after pictures for at least
Yeah.
one of them, and it's
yeah,
night and day.
I don't think you can judge a book by the cover. I think we jokingly spoke about it in our own text chat, kind of a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
On and off, we do it. What they're doing in that picture seems to be the right way.
Yeah.
However, one good apple in a bunch of shit apples is still shit. Until we
Yes,
see them all
it does remain to
at
be
an
seen.
event.
It does.
Well,
And
what
it-
I will say about that, just to because that's a valid comment, but by the guy's own admission, he says that his is the least improved.
Yeah, but I could turn around and say that, about anything until you see it firsthand.
Yeah.
Granted.
True.
It's not just that because
Yeah, we have
I'm
to
not
remain
knocking the guy
skeptical,
because
but
his kit looks very good.
we have
but
to
we
remain
have to remember-
skeptical. It's
Yeah,
I totally understand. I think it's certainly what we can
it's not
say is
knocking
that
them.
the signs are looking good.
Yeah.
The signs are looking
I mean,
good.
Yeah.
Because I've had a running dialogue with the guy in those pictures, and he was actually one of our farbs of the week, which is
He
quite
was,
kind of
and
impressive.
one of the
because-
worst ones, might I add. Like,
Yeah.
and
He
fair
was
play
a
to the
proper
guy.
bad-
He took on everything we said.
the DNX eyeshadow kind of guy.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
with
him,
the
isn't
fox
it?
pelt and the wooden nail there.
Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure it was actually
because that's a real strength of character that in the face of criticism, and obviously we played up some of the negatives for comedic effect, even though we did bring up constructive parts
Yeah.
to it. In the face of that, to
He went, "All
make
right,
the choice to take that on and improve is a real strength of character. And, I'm, credit where's credit's due. That is fantastic. And having seen the results and the sort of questions that he's been asking me in my running dialogue with him, because he's actually come to me for advice and pointers on the next steps. The guy, he's making all the right moves, and it's not just what we said in the Farb of the Week thing. He's taken on board our guide to starting reenactments. The episode we did where we, kind of set out some of the pitfalls and some of the bits to avoid and how best to go about starting a kit. He's taken on those as well.
That's really.
So he's probably started from scratch.
He has.
Because what
And-
was needed.
Not
What-
again, not knocking him, but and it's a question I've asked myself kind of a lot recently. I've been looking at a couple of other hobbies, and I've noticed the way other hobbies do their kind of initiation into doing the Viking Age stuff. What started him on that path though?
So
Because
here's
until you fix that,
yeah.
what's
Well,
that you're always going to come across it. You know?
here's what I understand, and what I've he's told me, and what I've kind of gleaned from other people as well who are in that group, is that the previous leadership had they encouraged a certain method, which is the wrong method. Very much based in the I've been doing it for so long, my way is right, etc., etc. And it was the environment that he did all that and was encouraged because that's what the leadership liked and that was their view of how things should.
You can lead something to water. You can't tell them to do it. I've got that, and I'm not going to name the group, but elsewhere, and they're all dressed up and looking weird as heck at the moment. But I know for a fact it's not right.
Yeah.
2 seconds of knowledge does that.
Well, this is the thing is I'm I can't say speak on their behalf why they didn't do stuff earlier, but it's
I'm being the harsh one here, so
no, and it's fair
It's good
questions,
to have
fair.
it's good to have an inquisitive perspective, because if we all go, oh, they're looking very good, they're improving, we don't have the question asking why are they improving, or what is it they're doing that is actually improving.
As I understand it, they'd gotten to the point where people wanted to improve and had done for a while, but there was no incentive to because of how the leadership ran it. As what I'm gleaning from it, and again they can correct me, but from what I've been told, it was very much stamping down on people trying to do things differently. It was the leadership's way or the highway, which has been rectified by the change in leadership and booting out those elements because they flourished. And I've the comments and the pictures of the kit speak to that. And I think what is particularly telling is that the group that formed out of the people who left, the people,
Yes.
that kind of stagnant element, they formed a new group, and all of their kit, is all the problems that we saw in Wuffer.
They actually created more. They made their shield design the Vegvisir out of spite.
And so they went away. They called themselves the Exiled, which is LARPy anyway, and it's also not.
Is that what that word means? Or
yeah,
ROEs, isn't it?
Roughly Exiled, or it's something similar. Basically, it just backs up what the guys have been saying, that this element have been, that has been the concentration of the problem. They've gone away. They are still that problematic attitude, the problematic kit, all the rest of it. As soon as they're gone and they're not influencing things, the guys who remain are able to progress. And as I said to them, I had a conversation with Frazzle through some of my posts, that I've experienced that style of leadership where people are trying to improve, but because it goes against what the leaders want, they stamp it down. And it's very easy from an outside perspective to go, oh, you could have just spoken up or done something different. You can be led into the belief that that's your only options to stay.
I really I understand where you might be coming from, but at the same time, I'm a very much different person. I've always been quite outspoken with that sort of stuff. But there are always other options. Always. Norfolk is not shy of groups, boys. Come on, we've made that joke many a time. So you look at Guthrum, his stuff, yeah, and you look at them. You look at they come to Gypswick 2 years ago. Never told anybody. They come in plain clothes, and spoke to the organizer because they didn't like that we had an event over there. I get your point, dude, but I don't see it. I don't think it was that. I think they genuinely had no care. Rather than try to betray themselves off, I just think they didn't care.
Well, the guys who have left and formed their own group demonstrably don't care. We've seen that with that picture of them training and they're hitting each other in the head and they've got Veg Viziers all over the place and terrible.
Beowulf helmet and loosely fitting kit.
They genuinely don't care. The improvement that WUF have made since, if they didn't care, there is no reason for them to have done what they've done. And like I said, I'll be either proven right or wrong in the next few years, but I think importantly, I think it's the right thing that the community, the reenactment community, backs their improvement.
Absolutely.
Certainly
Because
acknowledges when improvements are made, because the problem is,
Yeah.
as much as maybe it could be self-directed. Like, for example, if anyone needs a bit of validation. I don't think there's any nothing to sniff at. Like if I've done something I'm proud of, I show you guys because I want to get your opinions of it. And I think that Woofer, from the images I have seen, which is what I'm going to say, I'm not saying this is an objective statement. From the images I have seen, they have drastically improved, and
Absolutely.
more power to them. More power to them on that.
What's also noticeable is that both the chap who was on our Father of the Week and their group leader have joined the study and culture group that we run, which is no fuss, no muss, just all sources and
Museum photos
and information resource sharing. They've joined. They've asked questions in there, and they've been actively participating in discussion, and sourcing new kits and information. So it's not just a case of they're buying new kit; they are doing the research, and I think, like I say, the important thing now is that people back them, because the community, people complain about gatekeeping in our community, and I see both sides of that argument, which I won't get into now because it's fucking the end of 2020, and that's a long conversation in of itself. There's plenty of critical analysis. There's plenty of breakdowns of what's right and what's wrong in a kit, but I think the important thing is when people do improve, and with such drastic improvement as we've seen, they get recognized and they get rewarded. So that's kind of why I'm bringing it up. This end of year stream is because it's a turn I didn't expect this year. Is I
honestly considered, and I maybe this is a position I regret in a way. I considered him a lost cause. I consider Woofer a lost cause. I mean, I'm shit at being optimistic sometimes, but I was very impressed. I really was.
It's and what's been kind of nice as well is that that news has spread very quickly in a lot of the circles that usually chat about kit and events and everything. It has been noticed, and the response has been good. So yeah, I'm repeating myself now, but more of the support for them, and Wuffa listening. If you're tuning in now, listening to this later, well done, guys. Fucking A.
Going in the right way, going in the right direction.
Yeah, and hopefully, you get to the point where we'll see you at events. Because
yes, if any of Woofer are in here, I would enjoy seeing you guys at events. I really would.
Yeah.
Anna is telling us we have audio issues.
No, we shouldn't do. No, I was trying to, because I was rustling a packet of AA batteries.
Being hungry.
Basically, you hear this?
No, Anna's saying you've gone quiet.
Yes. Let me explain it, Tom. I was making that noise. So I was trying to turn down my audio on the hardware and turn it up in software, but that didn't actually help. So I've reverted.
So there's a brief moment where the sound fluctuates.
Oh, we've
is
got
that-
Frazzle in
Hey,
the chat. There he is.
Frazzle!
Yes.
Is he in chat?
There he
Oh,
is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, he
yeah.
is.
Lovely.
Fucking
Lovely
A.
to have you.
Brazel, here's a question for you then. What made you spur the improvement to your kit? Genuinely. And would you be willing to, because Goatworn mentioned that you've said that you're the worst out of the improved kits?
No,
No,
that was
that was
the
the other chap. Yeah.
Oh, my bad,
Frazzle's the group
apologies.
leader,
Never
yeah.
mind. Never mind. Don't worry. See, I wouldn't mind seeing what the others look like, you know?
Mm.
Okay, well, we'll wait for a response on that one because obviously I'm interested.
Yes.
We
yeah.
like some audience participation. So
Audience
Absolutely.
participation.
Obviously,
indeed.
don't feel obligated to, but peer pressure. I'm looking at
Yeah.
the builder right now.
And yeah, I know I've said it in private, but I think it would be.
Other not
It
the
actually-
Crypto Wizard member. I love that.
I know I've said it in private, but I think it'd actually be good to actually have them on as guests at some point.
It's funny. It's funny
I
you
was
say that.
literally
He's just
about to
commented.
say that. Yeah.
He's just commented saying that's a big question, but it might be worth having a
Well,
full
we've
chat
always
with
said
you guys.
we would
you know.
we would like a Wizard member on as
I
a guest.
I would happily
Um,
have Frazzle on as a guest.
Even
Well,
have a couple, maybe.
Or you
Well-
know.
we'll pen that in for next year. If Frazzle's happy to come on and have a chat, we'd be happy to have him.
Absolutely.
Just wait for the old. Oh, there he is.
We've got Rich as
Hey.
well. Yeah, nice.
Hey, there he is. So
Hey,
now he's put a name to the chat. I can say that this is the chap who's been making a lot of
Rich,
strides.
just to say, Rich, really good improvement. I was genuinely I couldn't comment because I've been zucked on Facebook, but I honestly was so impressed. It's night and day the new kit you've got.
we were blown away, my man.
Really is, yeah. It was complete different. It's just brilliant.
just difficult to please. Then he take it personally.
I'll tell you what, mate. In the spirit of, I know you guys follow the old ways, and there's a Norse tradition that if someone was dealt a nickname or some other kind of jibe, if they were to accept that nickname or jibe and take it in good humor, the person who dealt it was obligated to give them a gift. Being that you have taken on the criticism that ourselves and other groups have dealt out, I see it fit to send you a little gift, mate. So I know you're already chatting to me in the messenger part of Goatworn. So if you get in touch there, I'll have something in the post for you next year.
Oh, just Easton, you cheeky man.
Ignore Fish.
Just Easton.
His name's on the thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
It's not going to be a jobby in a bag.
no.
Should be quite nice.
We'll work something out.
But yeah, big. I mean, obviously I haven't seen the broader spectrum of woofer kit as Just Easton touched on, but just that one
Definitely,
impression
like, kit-wise.
spoke volumes to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not just them. Like, obviously, like seeing that sort of, and yeah, don't take what I was saying like to heart too much. It's just I don't feel that one person can,
No, it's
entirely change the view.
we have
of
to remain
something.
skeptical. I think the problem is also we've had no events this year, which in a way might have actually improved how quickly they got their kit up because of nobody's at events.
You see it. You know what? If I was talented, which I'm not, but let's be honest, we all know this. But if I actually had some talent for craftsmanship, all of the good Polish craftsmen, so I obviously speak quite a lot about volume-wise, every single one of them is back-to-back on work till next year. All of them. It's absolutely flat out. I just ordered a new set of gloves and a new kind of padded like tunic, literally like 5 wool t-shirt.
Oh,
things, like,
you found
done
a
together.
supplier for that?
Yeah.
Very nice,
Finally,
yeah.
yeah, literally, it's I think it's booked until like March next year.
Yeah.
For gloves.
What's that with Ryaslav?
No,
that a different
Ryaslav's
one?
okay. He's not great.
Ah, fair enough. But yeah, regardless, the I think a lot of groups have had a lot of kit improvements.
So, just to move us on from that, and actually, it's kind of a nice segue because obviously at some point we'll be seeing Woofer Mark II Electric Boogaloo in kind of a reborn styling. What are we looking forward to in 2020? So our positives looking.
It's a difficult question. I hope. I mean, this is a lot of the stuff I look forward to is dependent on the vaccine, which but I look forwad to continuing to develop and work on my late Romans / Germanic impression. I'm that's coming along really nicely. I really look forward to hanging out with you guys. As
Oh yeah.
sad as that
But
sounds.
I'll tell you what, we are going to get beyond shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be quite a weird one because we haven't actually met face to face properly.
Not all together, no.
So obviously we've seen each other over stream, video calls, but I think there's going to be quite a lot of pent up excitement and energy,
Sexual
and we're just going to
aggression.
get sexual aggression.
Goatworn orgy when?
Yeah, goat orgy. Yeah, no, a goat porn armband. There we
Goat
go.
fudge pack.
Hey,
Goat fudge pack band.
Oh, no.
are you all right? Are you all right then, Charlie?
I was just. I was
Yes,
struggling
my
to
God.
say the joke, which.
The Earth will splinter under our combined autism.
Gosh.
Oh dear.
Sorry, I think we've come to.
Oh, you cut off after the word "come" there, mate.
Sorry, yeah, that's all
I
right.
think we've come.
So there's a chap doing the fucking wheelbarrow song in the old
Yeah.
the wheel through the front wheel went round. So that is either Big Rich or my old Jarl.
Ah.
We were trying to work out who he was.
We knew it must be someone who knew you because it. At first we
Yeah.
thought it was Rich Parsons, which it couldn't be.
No,
Because then he commented.
There was a chap called Little Rich, which is an ironic name because he's fucking massive.
Yeah, Richard
Rio
Coombs,
Alexander.
right?
No, another.
A different.
There's so many big Richards.
Oh.
He is. So he's a musician and he was the owner of the biggest boar spear I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, that thing was just enormous. But we used to wind him up because at events he would play music and we'd sing along to it badly. And then whenever he was trying to do something serious, we'd kick up the wheelbarrow song, which he hates. So if it's him, if it's Rich, hi, or it's my old Jarl Jeremy, who obviously
Who
started
did
us
it
off.
with you? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like to kebab me some like, yeah, it's Rich. Hey, little Rich, how you doing? Yeah, he's a fantastic musician, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Rich, as in massive Rich.
Not Rich Coombs.
No, but no, because the other Rich is bigger than Coombs. Swear.
Yeah, he is. He's if you've met him,
Yep.
he was in the Black Serpent.
I've had his
Or-
chainmail on me.
Really?
I bought his chainmail off him, among other things which I won't mention. But yeah, his
Yeah,
chainmail on me.
A company of the company of the Dank Danger Noodle was what we called them.
Ah. Yes.
But yeah, okay. So sorry, slightly distracted there.
one mystery solved. On
yeah.
back onto the podcast.
So things to look forward
We
to. So you've
digest.
got, Guthrum, what are you looking forward to?
But so much I'm looking forward to in 2021. I'm not hopeful about events at all.
Who knows at this
Like,
point? It's impossible to
at
say.
this point, but I'm not getting my hopes up. I've got so many projects planned, so many commissions online. I cannot wait to get finished with this fucking middle
I
hard.
can't wait for my new sword. Swords. There we go.
Plural.
Swords, yeah.
Yeah, I've got
I was
several swords on
thinking
my
of
list.
one sword, and then I realised I've actually already initiated the commission for what is the beginning of 2 swords. So
Yes.
it's yeah.
Are you going to dual wield?
But not really, Goatworn. I mean, one of them
Viking.
is stonking massive. For a
My
start.
God, yes, the Kamatha.
Yeah, the Kamathan sword is
God.
77 millimeter wide blade.
That's big. Your average Viking sword is 50 to 60.
Yeah,
60 at most. And that's another centimetre, 2 centimetres wider.
Yeah, it's a big boy, you know. Anyway,
Yeah. So, Just Easton, what about you?
Confident for events next year, either. I think much as the other guys said. I think privately we will have some Eastern stuff going on. More than likely, we do have an Eastern event planned next year, but we'll have to see what like the COVID vaccine and stuff comes out on.
it really
how
does
it goes,
depend on
really.
the vaccine, I think, and
Yeah,
how
and I
much
think,
it gets rolled out.
Not just kind of COVID related, because I don't, as much as I'd love to say everything could be fixed once that's sorted, that's not the case. With the baby, I suspect the first 2 years, maybe we won't be doing very much in general anyway. So I think if Hastings is on next year, I might try to attend Hastings. Volin was on the agenda, but obviously I don't see Volin being on next year.
So,
We'll see.
what I'm hearing is to those in the comments, wrap it up because if you have a baby, you end up missing 2 years of events.
No, not at all. We could take the baby with us to events. Loads of people do, and we've got the stuff to do it. I just don't want to put the extra pressure on while he's being breastfed and like kind of be so young. It's not fair when all I do is fight all day and she's got to watch a baby all day, all night, all day.
I mean, she's got to do that with you anyway, hasn't she?
Yeah,
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
And what about your child? I mean, we've been talking about you for the last.
When he's
5
old enough to
minutes.
grip a spear, I won't be disappointed in him. He's not ginger, so the disappointment's already there.
Oh, no.
What a shame!
I am genuinely looking forward to the moment where we get to see you two train and we get to see him spear you in the balls first time.
Suspect it'll be within the first 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I give him a spear, he's perfect size for my knackers, isn't he? So it's going to happen. I am no. I was talking to not. I know we speak about him. We speak about the baby quite a bit, but I'm really looking forward to just seeing how it is.
I
It's
think
really
you'll be
nice.
A great dad.
Rich says, we started with a 3-year-old as our youngest. It's why we've always gone living history, so everyone's part of the event and close to the battlefield generally. Yeah, I can confirm that little Rich has a quite massive family unit, and it's really lovely actually seeing him like. I'd love to say that it's always nice, like you get your personal slaves at an event of like, right, you do this, you do that, and I'm sure that's how it happened initially. But the time I've known him, they're all teenagers and they're all back chatting and trying to like do stuff.
Like we already own a tent, which we could the kind of forget the name of them, but I've got people call them the Saxon tents.
Oh,
Like
get
the big-
out.
Yeah, it's got the 2 poles in the middle, like
The
and then you have the
get-out,
one at the top.
yeah.
We've got one of those, and we could easily fit. We fit 9 of us in at Volin. The smell of farts were just perfect. But we could easily fit the car
Musky.
plus all of our kit inside my tent. It's that big.
Yeah, musky.
It's just humongous, but it's just all of the extra stuff I mentioned to her, so obviously transportation is a long distance, free events, maybe local events. I'm not sure. To be honest, nothing in my body wants something more than to be able to go to an event right now. I would really, really, really kill to just, even if I didn't get fight,
To just
go
vibe.
and be around
Yeah.
to talk and.
So I had an event in
we can't,
September under COVID regulations. I think there's a maximum of 13 of us or something, and we all had to stay socially distanced, masks at certain times, etc. But you know what? The best thing about that event, the best bit, was when we all sat around the fire in the evening and chatted shit. That was the best. That was the best bit of it. It was great, and it was like a reprieve from the constant reenactment blue ball that this year was.
Been debating, and this is an open question to anybody in here, and obviously you guys, about getting a kind of a small spearhead commissioned as a baby. So he's got his own one. So I'm thinking about it. But I had him over the other day, and like he can't grip anything. Yeah, he's still too young. So obviously he's not gonna be able to bloody spear. He doesn't understand anything. But I just thought the idea of this small child having like a functional spear already.
So I know there a couple in Regia. They have, you know, the Capapai javelins, the rubber ones.
Yeah.
They made like a little spears with those as the heads for their kids.
Perfect.
Remind me,
By the way,
your impression?
My next impression, the one I'm currently working on, is Skieldingheim. Kind of
Right, so
impression.
Norwegian E. There happens to be a Norwegian boy's grave with a full suite of miniaturized weapons, sword, axe, and spear.
Oh, is this the Type M?
Yep, the little cut down Type M, tiny little Type L axe, I think, and just a general spear, all miniaturized. Whether these were specialized grave goods, just a life.
My ancestor, that's a full size sword for me, mate.
Yeah, not this small.
He wasn't a boy.
Centimeters.
He wasn't a boy. He was just a midget.
Its blade is about a foot and 2/3.
Just to
somebody
side.
Actually created created one recently. A guy in London. I forget his name. Andy, I think it is. He did.
Yes, Andy.
Yeah, I've seen him, and I went down that rabbit hole a little bit.
As I say, Rich, no,
I'll get into more details later.
Not a Pelham. It was it's the style of javelin you see in the Viking Age, which is a
narrow.
It's almost like a spear, just smaller, and so it would be perfect for something like a kid's toe.
Mind you, I wouldn't object to some rubber Pelham to throw at Drew when I next see him. He's the resident Celt botherer.
Drew
actually,
Penis.
Yeah.
What a name!
Just Easton. He's the guy I told you is basically what was the word we came up with? Wodaboo.
Wodaboo, yes.
My cultures know your plaything. Right?
Honestly, he put up a thing about reviewing classic Iron Brew the other day. Like, oh, this is so much better than the standard stuff. I can see why this was like, dude, you're not Scottish.
To be fair, the classic Iron Brew is better, but I wouldn't write a Facebook review about it.
He was reviewing it in the way that like a white guy in the basement might review a samurai sword, you know?
Yeah. This is the Street Sweeper 2000.
I just want to draw attention to the fact we've been running for 113 minutes. So
don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it.
Fair enough. Just wanted to make it.
Okay.
Why are you sharing old profile pictures of me in our chat?
Because they're humorous to me.
Anyway, so things I'm looking forward to. I'm definitely looking forward to. I think events might go ahead, but without the battles, which will still be fine. I can live without the fighting.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
we'll
So
still-
can I. I don't go for the fighting, to be honest.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. Whose turn was it, Shire Reeve?
Mine.
Shut your whore mouth.
Wrong. No.
No. For Christ.
Yeah. So where was I? Yeah. I can live without the battles, and if we're at the point where we're able to actually be in a field doing living history, we'll have been able to start doing training again. So I'll get more out of the training that way. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys actually in person. We do have plans to do another live episode, which is probably ill-advised because the plan is to get drunk at Ross's place on cocktails and live stream.
Which
And that-
we will do, but we can't at the moment, which is the most annoying
No.
thing.
I don't know how good an idea that is or how bad.
But
We'll see.
you have your steel horse now, so you can.
Yes, I do, which is
you can
great.
Come with.
I have
come
freedom.
up. Yeah.
Put my motorbike up. I
Mm.
can't even go anywhere.
So
Well,
yeah,
I'm sure. To be fair, if Mr. Goatworn Armband is driving up, he could probably swing by yours or near enough.
Imagine the mental torture I would give you, one,
Oh,
if
true,
we shared
true.
a car all the way to York.
that's no problem because I'll just put you in the glove compartment.
Sorry, mate. You'll be able to reach it
Oh,
from the
that
back
was
of how
good.
long your legs
That
are.
was-
You lanky
that was
bastard.
good.
you.
that
I've-
was
or,
good.
Oh my god.
Either that, or I'll put you in the baby seat, and you can try and kick
Yeah,
the chair.
strap him
yeah.
in. You ain't gonna know.
Hang on, but
you
he's
get
still
no
not.
then.
He's not going to be able to see out the window if he's in a baby seat. You need two
That's what
on
speed
top
is
of
for,
each
That's
other.
right?
fine. I'll sellotape an iPad to the back of my headrest, and he can watch like Hey Dougie on on the
Or
way
the
up.
Explorer, is it? Yeah.
Just
Someone-
stick
no
Someone
horny.
getting speared in the groin.
Yeah, Anna says, sounds wonderful if Ross the Roman will be on it too. Stop being thirsty. Stop
Simp.
objectifying.
Simp.
Sim.
Simp.
Just reminded of because we do keep bringing up how sexy he is every time we talk about him. You guys seen the snooker skits on Mitchell and Webb? It's like, he is a friend of mine, a sexy, sexy friend of mine. But,
Oh dear.
so,
God, for the love of God, don't let Anna know he's getting muscular after.
oh,
Well, you just have now.
Oh shit.
Oh no! What a shame.
Oh no. Anyway.
we do have some questions for our Q&A segment, which we took down earlier. Good opportunity for you guys who are here in chat. If you do have a question and didn't manage to post it earlier, chuck it in and we'll get around to it after we do the ones that have already been sent to us. Do we have from Jin of Gunbargain suggests some outlandish battle between a Viking and insert
Are we
other.
on to the
Just gives me-
questions?
Yeah.
Ah, cool. That's fine.
Have you not been listening for the past 2 months?
No,
Um,
he's been like data mining my my profile for my old profile.
Haha! I will make so many
Oh, oh, oh.
bitcoins out of you, Goatworn Armband.
Honestly, got one though. The old pictures, they are just excellent.
There's something else.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
So like the baddie at the
So
sequel
are we
series.
doing
Novel.
Jin's question first?
Yes.
Okey-doke.
So sorry, I thought I copied it into the Leone. I'll do it now.
Yeah, you did, but weaponized autism.
Oh, no worries. So just quickly, hi Barcy, one of my first comic creations. I've missed the first 118 minutes. Can someone catch me up? Oh, thank God. Well, I'm here now. Proceed.
Christ.
Okay, so basically, I'm Monkey.
Reject modernity and
Except
return-
Amoeba.
Monkey.
Return to Amoeba.
Wet cellular noises.
I must consult the ancestors.
That's the sound of
Right.
consulting the ancestors.
Yes, wet.
Fish noises. Right, so yes, Art of Gumbargen says suggests some outlandish battle between Viking versus others. So essentially, what would be your version of a Viking episode of Deadliest Warrior? Shire.
Oh, you put me on the spot. So, I'm thinking, right, old meets new. 5th century Germanic Foederati versus 9th century Anglo-Saxon Feared. You know?
So you said 5th century Germanic Foederati, 9th century Anglo-Saxon. That could be a close one to call, but I think the Foederati would edge it out just because of Roman training.
Yeah, that's
I don't think there's sufficient.
I think it depends
technological
because
advances.
yeah, I mean the Foederati would also have the numbers because I mean you're talking about a force that was used to back up the Roman Empire, and
so that
yeah,
would be a significant number of people.
yeah,
Whereas the
yeah.
Anglo-Saxon period, it's
It's still significant,
Well,
but not enough.
absolutely, you're still talking thousands.
Especially in the 9th century, it's
absolutely
What about 1 versus 1?
1 versus 1. It depends. Well, I'll let Alex explain. We lost Alex.
hang on.
Busy opening another packet, Chris.
Oh, Ross has pointed something out. Foederati got no Roman training. Well, fuck me, I guess.
So so actually that would swing it in the
No,
Fields,
because they were still in numbers, and they
Oh,
would still
no,
they
sorry,
would still be highly drilled.
Yeah, I meant in 1v1.
Oh no, because she's they said battle, didn't they? Yeah.
Yes, well, Goatworn Armcast
It
is now
technically
saying
is 1-on-1, isn't it? So like,
Oh, so are we saying 1v1?
1-on-1.
I think
Yes.
right now, we are.
Okay.
Hang on. You because initially you said okay, battle. The numbers, the equipment is roughly the same, etc. So I asked, as a kind of a tiebreaker.
right.
What about 1v1?
Foederati.
If there's no major difference,
a Foederati Krieger would absolutely gamer a 9th century Anglo-Saxon.
Wouldn't that mostly depend on the kit involved?
Yeah, but
let's assume they're equally armed.
Okay.
Period.
Well, if they're
Best.
Yeah, but I still think a Foederati Krieger would gamer an Anglo-Saxon for the 9th century because you've got to think of the heroic culture at the time that they dealt with, which was still obviously fledgling, because it sort of it builds up in the migration period, but at this point, you're still getting warriors of individual significance on the battlefield.
Whereas your typical feared member is just a member of the wall.
And well, I mean, even a well-armed feared member. I mean, the heroic poems of the Anglo-Saxons are written about the 5th and 6th century, not about late. There are no heroic poems about the 9th century, as far as I'm aware, or not of the same style.
No, certainly not. The best thing that comes to mind is 10th century, and that's Brunanburg.
Yeah. So you're
even then, that's hardly heroic. It's more a lament.
This period in time, the 5th, 6th century, was treated as a period of individual prowess as warriors.
That makes sense, because this is the years of Beowulf.
Yes, I mean, obviously you're talking about continental Foederati compared to, say, the Saxons arriving on the Saxon shore, but it's the same people, by and large.
Yeah, that Germanic tribes. There wasn't that much difference between them.
Yeah.
Right. Guthrum, what's your pick?
Ooh, let me think. So, that's actually a bit of a hard question, but I'd like to see what a Palatine Legion would make of a Viking army of a similar size.
Oh,
And
they'd
further
fuck
to
'em,
that, I want to
surely.
obviously, and further to that, I'd like to see it scaled up time and time again, just to see how many Vikings it would take to game out this Palatine Legion.
Oh, so you just keep increasing the number of Vikings for the set for the.
Yes,
Yeah, I see, yeah.
a bit like as you would in tabs if you're trying to work out how it
No.
would feed.
For
Yeah.
context, Tabs is a comedic battle simulator, should we say? You line up a load of dudes and
Hmm.
watch them have at it. Yeah,
Obviously, I'd level it somehow. Um, I would, if Palatine were emperors ass kickers, I would I would at least level it in such a way that these Vikings. I know I use Vikings. I wouldn't necessarily mean raiders. I would mean the elite
a
of the
Norse
Viking Age. We're
army.
talking
Yeah,
not even that. I would say the best, the cream of the crop,
yeah,
like
something like
mounted
Canute's army.
infantry, lordly.
Yeah,
Yes, even heavier refined than Canute's army. I would say, like the King's Fens times however many it takes to get him this
yeah,
Palatine Legion.
or say Hadrada's Varangian guard.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see how they square up.
What about you, Justice?
Stormcloak versus Imperial.
Get out.
I don't think it's a fair. I really don't know. So many of these different like.
You have
Anglo-Saxon
committed
lords or-
crimes against Skyrim and her people.
Shut the fuck up, you indomitable spurk.
I just think there's so many. that are so
Imperial milk
similar,
drinker. No, anyway,
Just with different.
Is that the
Um,
Shire Reeves superhero alter ego, the Indomitable Spurg?
no, we all know it's Autismo. Come on.
Oh yes.
I mean, how could you even ask? That's like cheating on Autismo, for God's sake.
Oh dear me. Christ. Yeah, that just highlights what I mean. Laugh a minute.
Yeah.
I think one-on-one though, if you're going to do it, generic northern kind of Viking, I mean someone that's actually gone raiding, so a little bit of experience behind him, against kind of semi-trained Byzantine infantry. And I say generic infantryman, just to see kind of one for one with a bit of experience on each side.
Yeah.
Who's
That is interesting because obviously we get stories of how the Varangian Guard were formed up of Norsemen, but they didn't seem to give indication that they were much more than mercenaries or Vikings.
And
before
they were already, well, from what I understand, they were already fairly skilled warriors in their own right.
Yeah,
So-
but they weren't soldiers.
No.
Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But they came over as kind of a ragtag bunch and were still considered, capable enough. And obviously the oaths of loyalty factored into that a bit, but their skill was kind of legendary by contemporary sources. So it'd be interesting to see the real comparison. Does the legend match up with history? So for me, it would be a bit of an interesting, or a bit of a twist. Real Vikings, historical Vikings against the fantasy version in the TV series.
TV
Gamer time.
can't die.
Well, the ones in the TV
Can't
series
die.
would be doing like spins and flips, but at the same time, they have the ability to kill someone wearing a male shirt by striking the male shirt. So
Assuming getting rid of obviously the fact that they we're not counting abilities based on what the limitations of a TV show are. Like, you know, if a main character, the actor can't actually fight, I'm not going to say that version of that individual can't fight.
I think we should attribute things that happen in the movies to this though. Like, for example, how many times have you seen in a film someone stabbing someone in mail, you know, and killing them?
Mm.
You know, is this a power that could be attributed to these fantasy Vikings?
I would like to see the real Ivor the Boneless take on the...
Just fucking beat the shit out of the movie version.
But the thing is, we don't know, do we? It's entirely possible that the real one was crippled as well.
Well,
yeah.
Why would you put because the boneless is a very particular
crippled or
nickname.
potentially
well,
what's the word?
So
He's got no willy, but the thing is,
assuming that the Repton giant is Ivor the Boneless, the Boneless would make more sense in the fact that he was so large that he couldn't have had bones. He was too big for bones. Because Norse nicknames were so... They were never literal. They were very weird in the way they worked. You know, they were kennings. So to go boneless, oh, he must have been crippled, is actually too simplistic.
Yeah.
And he was never said to be crippled.
Yeah,
I prefer the one they say of you know, what's the word? Couldn't have kids. Infertile. As one example.
Yeah.
Because it's more in depth.
Because if we go by this notion that he was the Repton giant, that the Repton grave is him and his warriors after he went to Ireland, which would make a lot of sense. The grave was supposed to hold someone who was well over 7 foot tall. Now, can you imagine a guy...
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've seen this claim, but I can never find a source from what I've found. The jaw wasn't that small.
I will dig that out to you because the grave that had the Thor's hammer and the beads on it was still a fairly large skeleton, but it isn't the Repton giant, and people get confused between the two.
So people think the Thor's hammer, the Repton cross, or the Repton hammer was found in the giant's grave, and it wasn't. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. The original discovery of it, there was because it's been mixed up since, and they're still trying to match up bones with the right owner. But when they opened it initially, according to the initial report, the skeleton belonged to someone who's well over 7 foot tall.
I'm definitely going to need a source for that.
Now, I'll find that for you, but assuming that's the case, can you imagine this absolute unit of a dude plucking Discount Ragnar out of his chariot and just like hulking him against it?
if he was tall, like I suppose it's going into the kind of the theory here. If he was tall, most tall people suffer with that kind of really. Well, I say most tall people has a very broad spectrum, but don't they suffer with that where they're fucked, for lack of other words, like their bones and joints.
Is this little man syndrome coming through?
I'm a comfortable sight. Right? I'll jump up and slap you on the chin. But what I'm trying to get at is, I know there's that really tall kind of Chinese guy, and he's humongous, but he suffers all of these like joints and his bones are because you got greater weight, like, a huge amount of pain constantly because of it.
Yes, I know the guy you mean, the really tall, skinny fella. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I have no idea. You know, being not a tall person, I can't really comment on it. But I'm just curious if you know he would have actually been a fighting capable warrior, or if he was quite smart but couldn't fight. Potentially spent time doing other stuff. Either way, we know he was an incredibly clever man. I guess.
So, next question. Jenny Heath, who runs Dracostotia, asks, how do you see events running safely in 2021 so they can go ahead safely? What have you missed about events
Could
this year?
I give my answer first?
Sorry?
Could I give my answer first?
Well, you interrupted to ask, so I guess so. I don't seem to have a choice in this.
Okay. I mean,
No,
if you
I'm
wanna-
taking the piss. Go.
Okay. So I did an event in September, as I mentioned, under COVID regulations at the time. Like I say, we all had to mask up at certain times when when we needed to. We all had to remain within 2 meters away from each other. There was hand sanitizer available at all times. We had to sanitize, communal food stuff. So we didn't get any cross contamination, and so on. There was no combat. It was a living history filming weekend. We were doing various bits of filming, and honestly, it was stressful. I think everyone was stressed at that, but it worked. And bear in mind, this is under previous COVID regulations, not number 4, tier 4, or anything like that. But it did work. I think the early events won't have any combat. I wouldn't be surprised if they. I mean, once everyone's had the vaccine, it's not so much of an issue. But I think, as restrictions loosen, I think we will see events that don't have combat and that can still go ahead, but they will have heavy restrictions on, the number of people per camp, the number of people per. How people are interacting, where you wear a mask, where you don't wear a mask, how far you got to be apart, what precautions you have to have in place for risk assessments and so on. But I think it's possible.
Yeah, that's been my kind of assumption. We did touch upon it earlier that we've obviously missed being around the fire, so that kind of answers that question really. And it's going to be living history heavy. I think if it does go ahead, it'll be living history first, and then we're going to ease back into the combat. So it's going to affect the groups who are just combat wombats. The people who've actually got living history, that's going to pay off dividends. All the hard work they've put in, they're going to get a lot of events next year. Mogens, Frost, Tvorup, Larson. I don't know how badly I've butchered that. I'd love to hear what non-UK events you have experience with or would like to attend in the future. Do you intend to participate in more events on the continent or in Scandinavia? Why or why not? Well, we've been invited to that one in Norway, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got the invite to that. We could have went this year, but the 14-day thing was just going to kill it for us all. I think when we all spoke about it, wasn't it? 14-day. I forget the word. The seclusion where you're not allowed to.
Yeah, 2 week. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all
Down.
privately or personally, or want to do more stuff in the continent.
I would
I've
love
got
to. I would love
9
to.
or 10 different invites, continental events, non-Western events, and then the stuff in like Norway and stuff from Conrad and others. I personally got in for.
I intend, if events are on that I can go to abroad next year, I intend to go if it is feasible at the time. Both COVID and monetary situation and everything, job situation and so on, because I am graduating next year. We just had a question: how drunk are you guys? I'm completely sober. I've not been drinking.
Wish I was dropping.
I'm just tired.
Yeah,
I'm tired of this shit, man.
We don't have to get fucked off our rocker to chat absolute bollocks.
Yes, no.
We used to. It used to be the way we'd always do it. We'd always bring a beer to it all. I just have a month.
Yeah.
I haven't slept since 6 o'clock yesterday morning.
I've been
tired.
quite comfortable. As I mentioned at the start, I had my duck and pancakes. That was very nice. And now I'm just vibing.
Go get coffee.
Right. What was the? So, has anyone got any other thoughts on the events thing? Because I'm curious to hear any other perspectives.
Or for continental one.
Oh, just in general.
Yeah, I've been quite vocal with my perspective on it. I am not at all hopeful. I think things are going to be too slow to salvage next year.
I think
depressing
it
as that is.
entirely depends on the the vaccine. I think it'll be
I
a
really
case
don't
of
think it's going to be rolled out quick enough.
Well, being that that's kind of I think at best, it's going to start with realistically, it's going to start with local events, the events that groups run by themselves, and then we can start thinking about the nationals.
Yeah.
I think that's the safe thing
I'm
to do.
talking about small. I mean, like I say, the event I went to in September under those current COVID regulations was maximum 10, 13 people. I mean, I can't see. I mean, we ran into problems, and I can't see how a full scale national event wouldn't run into even worse problems.
I don't think. Yeah, any mediums or major as like class. I don't think any of those scale events will be not until 2022 at least. And the groups or things that run them, I don't necessarily think they will have the connect. I wouldn't go to. I wouldn't chance it. If I'm completely straightforward with everybody, if you've got an invite to a major or a medium in 2021, and you haven't had COVID, you're gonna get it there. It's gonna happen. So don't go.
But look at it this way: event toilets are fucking disgusting under normal circumstances.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
You're gonna catch COVID off a bog seat.
We are in
You
fact bog seat scientists. I myself am a bog seat expert. So I think I can safely say that yes, poo poo pee pee bog seat COVID-19.
I think that I think me and the kind of Eastern guys in my particular group, we've spoken about maybe doing like a weekend away in a woods with our tents and our kit sometime.
I did that with a couple of mates earlier in the year when it was possible with COVID regulations up in Scotland, and it was tits. It was so cool. We went to a wild camping site and we just got the fire pit cover out and stuff and just chilled. It was nice.
Just vibe.
Yeah, just vibed in kit like.
That was the event I was meant to come to.
You were, yeah. I think it was just too short notice, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
We will absolutely have to do that again sometime. The wild camping site we went to was excellent. Unfortunately, it's in Scotland, which means not possible at the moment. So
soon,
at some point,
blink and we'll be back at events.
Yeah, it'll feel
Do
like
you
that.
lick the bog seeks and the Vikings? Christ.
That's actually what he's. Oi, just Easter. What the fuck are you doing? I know. Tom licks bog seats.
I really fucking don't.
Well, you're the one that was so adamant about bringing up. You were so worried about the COVID you'd get from a bog seat. I'm just
I was using that.
I'm not throwing hands. I'm just saying what I'm throwing down. What I'm picking up.
Known fucking existent.
Well, you a bog seat licker would be the concerned one about that.
So someone's just posted on the link on my page. I thought the Just Eastern Things dude is just your less privileged brother your parents decided to lock up.
Yeah, he's your evil Scottish.
Whoever you are, I'm going to spear you in the bollocks.
What's the quote from Taken? I will find you and I will kill you.
So we got two more questions. The first one, I'll just do a quick one, just because it's something that we should
We've got. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you pressed all comments? Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions.
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah, there's two from Anna, which I have, I just didn't screenshot, so I am getting to those.
Yeah, so we've got 5 in total.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
We've answered. Oh, sorry. We have answered Mogan's question as well, haven't we? With regards to
reason I've not included those questions is because we kind of covered them already in our general
Yeah.
chat.
So okay.
So one from Giles Creos. Your ideas on how to combat the intrigue between many people / groups in this hobby. Now, that is something we're going to kind of look at in a future episode because a lot of the so-called beef between groups, and we have touched upon this in a previous
So
episode.
what does he mean by combat the intrigue? Just the animosity in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've brought this up before in a sort of a different way because we were addressing like the so-called beef between stuff like East and Western, Viking Regia, etc., etc. A lot of the way to combat it is simply just waiting for the old guard just
to die.
Can I
to
add
die,
something to
yeah.
that? I think a lot
Spit
of
it out.
I think a lot of it, honestly, is just people need to move on. If there's a really serious thing, it can take years to move on. But I think the important thing is that everyone does.
Yeah. I think the real stuff that comes up now is generally about actual
safety
bad
problems,
behavior, safety, poor attitude. Because I know there's been some there's kind of a joke. I think the beef between the East and Western now is largely joking.
Yeah.
There's a few people who still take it seriously, but most people kind of laugh at them.
It's
more
ironic.
than
The people that take it seriously aren't taken seriously, so you know.
Your mic's cutting out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I was saying
whatever you've done.
it's ironic. The people. I think it would have recorded me okay. Basically, I was saying that ironically, the people that take the beef seriously usually aren't taken seriously themselves.
Yes.
So,
it's all about poking a
Yeah.
little bit of fun at everything. To be really honest, like I started doing Western back in the day. Looking back at that, it's so funny. In my experience, when people would say it's combat, to see how it was played, it makes me laugh so much. And then similar thing
all
with
reenactment
really
combat
bad
is
Eastern
about
as well.
5% accurate, if that.
Yeah, I definitely think there's ups and downs, but it's all about being able to poke a little bit of fun at yourself,
Absolutely.
and poke a little bit of fun at others as well. In my view anyway, with it all, and just take it in your stride. Like the amount of stuff I get, or you guys know, like some of the actual vileness I get on just things. It's been quite funny. People actually initially finding out my LinkedIn and then messaging my work was
Really?
quite funny. Yeah, I told you guys months ago about that.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show like just how petty like some people are, and
That kind of behaviour needs to die.
it's home gang then.
Yeah. Like I say, I think the intergroup beefs out like that aren't based on people braining each other in the back of the head with axes. It's largely good humoured, and the stuff that is kind of serious and still toxic has been kind of relegated to the sort of people that you wouldn't take seriously anyway, and the sort of people who are thankfully kind of leaving the hobby.
My own experience with for example, just one example, the Vike Regia beef now is that everyone I know of my generation and up to about the age of 40, none of us give a shit. And I've heard it's very much the same in the Vike. Tom would be able to elaborate more on that, but no, honestly, like everyone just wants to move on. Everyone just wants to move, and the only people still bringing it up are.
Yeah, this is why I say we'll do a future episode on it, because it'd be getting a timeline of the the creation of groups and Viking reenactment in the UK is actually quite fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I think people would benefit from knowing the
I
history.
think the culture in the UK is one of the most divisive.
Yes,
compared to other countries. And I think it's...
No, I completely disagree.
Really?
Completely disagree. Yeah. The Eastern European, Johannesburg and independent Now independents primarily going to Red Wing.
Mm.
Just the hate spite there is just immense, absolutely immense, and seeing that carried across into younger guys over there. Not to say I don't agree with it at all. Don't get me wrong, but I always thought it was a bit of a joke when people made that, and I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. Whatever you're in, I sit and drink, have a chat, and laugh, and pretty much anybody. I really, really care, but it can get really vile out there. Really, really, really vile.
This tracks with what I've heard, at least from Eastern Europe. I really distinctly remember one of our very early episodes shortly after Mr. Vlasati, Thomas Vlasati, coming to us and warning us against critiquing Kit publicly, saying you will make enemies that will hate you for years and years and years. And while we appreciate the warning, it must be a different culture in the Eastern European scene, because that hasn't happened here. Not really.
Oh no, it has happened.
Much.
We've spoke about that privately again. In terms of what happens over there, has translated here. People will go out of their way at an event to hurt you.
Well, yes, that's Eastern. Unfortunately, I'm talking to like more the spheres the rest of us work in. Eastern, it's its own microcosm. And as I understand it, anyways, it's very, I don't know, honor manly. That's really.
Well,
not
you're
going
to
to
get cancelled for that, Tom.
I'm sure I am. I don't want to dwell on it too much because well, it's not worth it in this part. It might be an option for another one, but the big difference between here and there, at least in my understanding, and one of the reasons that actually draws me to it, being that I kind of priced by it all. A lot of the initial group, what I've been out in Europe, were all made army boys, and a lot of them still are led by.
That's an interesting
Soviet era.
That's an interesting
army.
point. Because, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. What I was going to say is, originally, I know a lot of the early pageantry stuff, way back, NFPS, was World War II vets. And I wonder if they're simply at a different point in time, because when it was basically just a veterans thing for us was 60 years ago.
So what you're saying is it's like they're just earlier on in the development of the scene.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't know, because they've been doing it for quite as long, if not longer, in certain aspects of it. Again, it's something for another topic, but it lines up with the militaristic output, which I personally enjoy of the Eastern. And I think one of you guys mentioned it earlier on, where we do consider it a sport. A lot of the guys that do Eastern actually do the kind of 1v1 bull hurt stuff in like a ring. I don't know if you guys have seen those.
Yeah.
Each other over the head.
That pretty much, yeah. But that stuff is actually starting to go into levels before boxing match.
I was interested, just as an aside, Boo-Hurt isn't 1v1. Boo-Hurt is the group fight
I wasn't
of
speaking
HMB.
about. I wasn't speaking about.
But
that. It's the 1v1 armor.
Yeah. Basically, it's all called HMB. Boo-Hurt is the group fight. I was actually looking at getting into it at one point, and I had an older member of my 15th century group really frankly message me and say, like, listen, mate, your choice is your own, but as someone with a fucked up back, I can tell you you'll regret it. And I just decided not to in the end. I'm not begrudging anyone else for making that choice if they have, but that's why I didn't in the end. But yeah, it does look like fun.
So
last question. Here comes from Thomas Dalliner. In-depth feelings about fighting the Anvil. So I guess this one's aimed at me, unless any of you are planning to take him.
Ooh,
Kind of shitting it, actually.
I have feelings. I have feelings about Goatworn fighting the Anvil.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that
Emotionally, holding a bowl of popcorn.
yeah, I didn't realise just how fucking big he is.
Listen, what you two do in the privacy of your own homes is none of our business.
Hey,
Christ.
none of that. Yeah, he's. Then after I did my training videos, my mock ones that with all the bread and everything, he sent me a picture of him like curling a log. with-
Do they train, boy?
Yeah, don't mind me, mate. I'm just curling a fucking log. Is he actually from World of Warcraft?
I said, do
Is
they
this who this is?
train, boy?
Is he like?
Literally, he's in his garden, dressed as a
Oh,
rooster,
I'll tell you what I'll do. All right,
ooh.
to be on your side.
eating this fucking huge lunk of wood.
Oh, we're talking about what? Okay.
You should come over. Yeah, not a jobby. He's not fucking.
That's why I kind of stopped when I
That's what-
started curling out a log.
You should pop over to mine, and what we'll do is I'll back you up like a call out video, and then at the end we'll get you to like yeet one of those trees that we do in Scotland.
Oh, caber tossing.
Aye, mate. But then they'll like
Do you like tossing your caber?
mate, I sometimes toss my caber 3 times a day.
Oh.
Christ. Did I sign up for this filth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay then.
So, yeah, are we still doing phrasing? Yes. So yeah, basically, I have got to hope that I'm quick, because as far as I've seen from his fighting videos, the sheer mass of the guy, I've got to count on his slow turning circle and just outmaneuver him, because I'm not getting him to the floor. Like, no way am I going to be able to move him. And I think just trying to stand my ground and fight him 1-to-1, at best, I'm just going to be fighting to a standstill there, and I'm just basically leaving myself open to him starching me with a shield. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good laugh.
The benefit is you can tell him how the grass tastes.
Yes.
Just like a little man.
No. We let Just Eastern Things handle that department.
I think I should go in with Just Eastern on my shoulders, like Master
Blaster. Who
Oh
ran Battletown?
yes, Master
Just Eastern thing on
Blaster.
Battletown. Yeah.
Who
Yeah, we can do
run
that.
Buttertown?
Fucking serious chat though, Goatworn. When you inevitably get your shit pushed in, can you write me into your inheritance for your Viking stuff?
I'm gonna be on the sideline. You seen that MMA meme?
Yeah, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be the Harold Shipman of the league.
What the fuck is a Harold Ship?
He's the doctor that writ loads of old people into his will and then killed him.
Christ.
My ex's dad knew him. Anyway.
Christ.
I think the Anvil stuff, but when's that actually happening? Gonna be
whenever we
eventually.
can. Basically,
Are you actually training, or are you just just vibing?
I have actually been training. I have been working out a little as well,
what
just
you-
to keep
what-
myself fit.
Okay.
Russ would be proud.
Do we know his weaknesses? Because
Yes,
okay.
he has a slow turning circle.
Does he tickle
so
easily?
I don't know.
What style
Well,
of fight?
we need to do research.
What style of fight is it going to be?
It's going to be Huskarl.
Oh mate, you're blind to it with that. Just stab him in the foot. Get him in the foot.
Fucking what? Huskarl?
Huskarl, yeah.
Have you done Huskarl?
I know what Huskarl is, and I'm now starting to really regret the joke I made, because actually, Goatworn, you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, we do
It's gonna be
Huskarl.
entertaining.
If you want to come over and practice, you're more than welcome. But
The sacrifices our great leader makes. Oh, listen.
I do Huskarl, and to date, the worst not injury, 'cause it wasn't really an injury on him, but it definitely hurt. We had one guy went to kick his shield during a Huskarl fight in a line,
No.
so two lines connected. And as he's lifted his foot to kick the shield, someone else comes straight down with a sword.
Oh no!
That leg is going to bend in ways it bloody shouldn't.
It hit 3 toes. 3 toenails were gone. 3 toenails were gone.
That's
All I remember hearing, I'm not going to scream, but at the event, all I remember hearing is just, and then just someone being like pulled out of the line and holding his
Jesus
foot.
Christ!
So Huskarl is a phenomenal thing to practice it. I definitely recommend it. Terrifying, absolutely terrifying.
Thing,
Oh,
we're going to
dear.
do a bit of training first, because we're going to do it for charity.
Yeah.
Do they train, boy?
So whoever wins, like, there's going to be a positive outcome by it, and it's just going to be fun. But yeah, I'm kind of nervous because
Need to probe him for his weak points. You know what I'm saying?
I don't mind losing. I just don't want to get Boba Fetted, where he just, there's this build up and then he just destroys me.
He chucks you into the Sarlacc pit.
Just chucks me into the Sarlacc pit. You never see me again.
You're quite thin, so what you could do is climb on his back, start beating out.
I'm not sure if that's in the rules.
Huskarl, anything goes apart from face shots.
The other alternative is you can hug him from behind. Just go up,
He'd shrug him off.
give him a big
He'd shrug him off.
Oh, true.
My plan is to do Monty Python him, where I just run in a circle until he collapses.
Yeah. Well, you could do a Star Wars where you get you hook a wire onto the hem of his mail and then you just run around. You just whip stitch his legs together, and then push him over.
Comments.
Okay.
Like the old Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, exact Star Wars. Yeah.
So we've figured out that you're not terrified, but you are scared.
I am definitely the side of clenching.
Okay.
He's turtle heading.
Yeah.
Hurdle.
Cloth has been touched. Let's put it that way.
Did you say Hoth has been touched?
No, cloth.
Oh, cloth.
Touch
Yes,
cloth.
I know what touching cloth means, Tom.
Anyway.
You must have much experience with it.
So,
Explain it. Fucking.
anyway, we've been going for nearly 3 hours now. We have reached the end of our question.
So tired.
No more have actually turned up no more questions have turned up in the chat.
Well, should we do a last call?
There is a question there.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
we get-
from Alex, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Alexander.
It's sword and board.
Okay,
Don't.
so last call. Does anyone have any burning questions to ask us?
Does anyone have any burning sensations?
Oh, burning sensations
Always.
indeed.
Always. His
Does
name is Alex.
anyone have any tingly feelings, down below? Hey, don't be so mean about me, Tom. I don't give you any aneurysms.
Good one.
I think we're good.
Yeah,
Well-
we're not getting any more questions through. So.
Okay.
With all that, then, thanks to everyone who's tuned in to listen live. Thank you to anyone who then catches this up on the old, YouTube channel when we upload it. Thanks to anyone who has tuned in to our podcast throughout the year, who has supported our memes, supported our daft twattery. Are you famous? And it's been a weird year, but we've gotten through it. We've got potentially some, better times ahead of us. So it's gonna be good. There's gonna be a point where we're gonna be able to take the field, and all the people I've taken the mick out in my comics will get to punch me. The Anvil's gonna tent peg me. And
I like that.
No,
I like that.
none of
image.
us are going to go there.
because
they're gonna
because
go to
I
the
just for
second
some reason I had the image of him, hammering you into the ground like a tent peg.
But like Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, precisely
I think-
so.
So
think
what
you are right.
what we're gleaning from this is the anvil is going to peg Goatworn.
Shut up, Tom.
Is that what we're going to leave 2020 on? Is the anvil pegging Goatworn?
Yeah.
No, you know what? Actually, sorry, I've got something to finish it on. If you let me warm, if possible, and it'll be a good, wholesome way to end the podcast tonight.
Go on.
What? And it's not rude. What is end of year? What is your New Year resolution?
Oh yes.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, come on, it's tomorrow's New Year's Eve. We're not going to be doing a podcast by then. So what is what have I? Resolution. One first.
Yeah, go on. You go first.
Me? Oh, okay.
You're on the spot.
Yeah. I definitely want to get back into more fitness. I got really fit doing shinty, which is a Scottish Highland sport. That
I love Shinty.
I didn't.
It gives
I-
its
I
name
kind
to
of
my
dropped
favourite
out of
number,
that.
Shinty 6.
Go on.
It's not dignifying that.
Have you ever, come on, you
So-
must have seen Number Wang.
Shut up.
Hello and welcome to Number Wang, Shinty 6. I'm sorry, but that's not Number Wang.
I don't know what you're referencing, but it's fun.
Okay, so
Someone will get it, surely.
as I was saying, yeah, I want to get back to that because that kind of dropped off. Then we had the COVID situation, which meant that my two main forms of the most activity I do, which is shinty and reenactment, just didn't happen. Which means that within the comfort of my home, I've had to make do with weights, push-ups, and which has been good for strength, but not so much for cardio and overall fitness. So I definitely want to get back into that. So that's going to be my New Year's resolution. Is going to be get myself back in shape again. Ross said, "Oh boy, I love hearing someone try to tell a story and get bulldozed by the Shirey." Hey,
Christ.
I think we all
Everybody's
know your New Year's resolution, Shirey.
I think everybody's got a thing.
What,
of it,
you
but
want
I
to hear
can't put it in
my
his
New
face.
Year's resolution?
Oh God.
2560 by 1080, baby. Come on, that was good. You have to admit, come on.
No, you're terrible. Fuck off.
Because it's my resolution. No, okay.
Yeah, honestly terrible. Charlie.
Guthrum, what's yours, mate?
Frankly, I'm tired of being a fat fucker. So I'm actually
Yes.
genuinely gonna put some effort into try and lose some of this.
My actual one is the same as Guthrum's. I just wanted. I thought I was funny, but I wasn't.
So
Yeah,
you-
that,
you-
and I'm gonna try and be a bit more cheerful. See how long that fucking lasts.
all of your kind of things there are to get more healthy. Then I mean that's good. That's very
Yeah,
noble.
mental health, body health. Current rate, I'm not gonna make 50, and I joke about it. Yeah. So yeah.
I think outside of reenactment, I definitely want to get another stripe on my BJJ belt,
Oh,
Yee.
nice.
which is very hard. For those that don't know, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, I remember you giving
which-
us updates.
or-
on it.
Or
Involves
as
you going
we
and
like
getting
to call
bent.
it, folding people and creative.
Snuggle cuddles.
Fucking what did you say? Struggle cuddles.
Yeah.
Christ, hey, Christ.
That's
It's
exactly
making
what it is.
flesh pretzels.
It's if you ever wanted to taste your own asshole, go to BJJ. But I'd like to get another stripe, potentially two, this year. I'd be...
Well, best of luck with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really, hope you do well with that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, keep us informed.
Cool.
You know we love to hear about everything.
It's always good to know a little bit of BJJ because someone tries to gleamer and then you twist it. The outcome is phenomenal.
I am double hard gleamer practitioner. I will drop you. And have BJJ go.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's time to roll out the thanks to everyone, as I started to do earlier. Thank you to everyone who tunes into the podcasts, everyone who supports all the pages associated with Goatworn Armband and the League. Thank you particularly to the Patreon supporters, without whom a lot of the material and works this year just wouldn't have gone ahead. Thanks to everyone who has supported independent traders this year. I know it's been rough as balls for our friends in the Traders Row. Hope and try to do my part with a bit of advertising during the hastings. So hopefully, if people have got a little bit of extra Christmas money going spare, look to the people you'd have ordinarily have bought from at events. Get a little something from them. It all helps. You know, they say every little helps as a kind of, very twee thing, but it really does to these independent traders.
Absolutely.
Because if we look after them and help them through this year, we'll see them next year and be able to reap the benefits that way. So look out for each other, support each other that way. Thank you to my fellow league members for everything they've done this year. Again, being involved with putting Hastings together, editing the podcast, and meaning that I don't have to sit here and talk to myself for the best part of an hour. So thank you guys. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Happy New Year. We will see you next year with more material, more gags, more salt, less free warbands, and a more accurate woofer. So it's all uphill from here, chaps. Stay tuned in the next few days. There will be an extra little something for you to close out the year. But that is it. We will see you in 2021. Cheers. Thank you very much.
All right, cheers. See you all.
Also, you should,
Goodbye.
patrons can join the Discord and hear sounds
Yes,
such as Conrad
we need
screaming,
to plug the Discord.
Alex and Tom complaining at each other, and
Ultimately, it's
other
like Stifler and
yeah,
Wardlow.
and other various ambient noises. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's been lovely actually. It's been nice.
arguing over the definition of lenticular.
Well, yes, because lenticular means lens shaped, and you
Fuck off!
right.
There's
Anyway,
only one true way to end this podcast with an incoherent scream by me.
Oh.